Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons. By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh, my God. The Jets killed him.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, join us in the chat for a
Football Friday.
Oh, it's here once again, friends. We have much to do this weekend in the football world.
It's that day where every one of you gets to feel like my wife and be disappointed in me just one more time.
All of the banger matchups in the NFL and the college slate.
It's a great weekend to look at your wife and go, honey, I love you so much I don't even want to watch football this week.
I think I'm going to.
Minus 12 o'clock tomorrow. You can have the whole weekend outside of 12 to 3:30 tomorrow afternoon.
Yes. The rest of the time, this might have to be the weekend that I finally clean up the hurricane debris out of the yard. I've been putting it off for too long.
This would be a good weekend to macrame yourself a pair of jean shorts.
Welcome into the program, and don't forget you can join us in the chat. Anything you want to bring up about today's games or this weekend's games?
I'd say there are really no games tonight.
Oh no,
Unless
there are games tonight.
UNLV, San
Oh
Jose
no,
State.
I mean we can break down the high school football playoffs if you'd like.
Pass.
You can't hear it tonight on ESPN Asheville and on News Radio 570 WWNC. Irwin Warriors, that's why I'm repping my school. Irwin Warriors going second round of the playoffs against Smoky Mountain. So there is football tonight. There was football last night. It was fun watching Georgia Tech just rip the hearts out of the NC State Wolfpack fans' chests.
I didn't even know that game was happening, and literally I flipped it over and went, "Oh!"
and you got the first snow game of the year.
But that's not the lead story of the day because we have breaking news.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
We all knew it was coming, but I don't think any of us thought it was coming this quickly. Daniel Stephen Jones II is now former New York Giants quarterback because he has been outright released.
Why not?
By the team.
Why would you keep him in the building? Why would you even let him have a door code? There's no reason for this anymore.
Well,
after you let him
I was fully planning on talking about this anyway. Then they just, we apparently don't know how to handle this, so we have to get him out of here.
Well, after you let him go in front of the media yesterday and do like this sob story, written down, sad little interview or statement. I mean, it was like a retirement statement. This was set up like it was supposed to be Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or Phillip Rivers. I'm just trying to think of like the emotional retirement press conferences that we've seen over the last several years. That's what this was for Daniel Jones. Like he got up there and read a written statement of how much I suck at football and I cannot handle myself on a football field. I have made that clear over the last 4 years. It was very monotone. It was very awful.
It did sound kind of like a spoken word poem. Like he had been sitting around a drum circle trying to figure out ways to make the New York media like him.
Well, listen here, Dookie. You should have gone to see J.J. Redick. He could have helped you out with that.
J.J. would have sat under a tree and written that for you. But it did. It was awkward. We pulled the audio. So Tank, if you could hit that real quick. Nope. At least we're going to try our damnedest not to.
Nah.
That was the Daniel Jones era of the New York Giants was like that one era that every dude you know has had at some point. And it usually involved a girl whose last name ended in an I and had 2 consonants beside each other that were the same. Tiffany, Stephanie, Brandy. And I know you're going, but nobody spells their name that way. Oh, they're out there. Trust me. And they will ruin your life for 6 months at a time. Ask me how I know. That's what that feels like for the New York Giants. You've historically been a pretty bright franchise. You've had decent luck with quarterbacks. Eli Manning was there for a bajillion years. Phil Simms was there for quite some time. But then you have this one blip of what exactly would you say that was? And now it's over. It's over.
Is it, though?
Is
it? Well, I mean, it's over for this portion of today's Pooh Show. Now it's just, where are we going from here?
Hey, Tommy DeVito. And this is an overcorrection that I've seen me do before as well. You date the girl that, I mean, she's not completely crazy, but behind closed doors, super crazy.
Right.
Then you just go hook up with a stripper. And that's, that's Tommy DeVito.
Tommy gave you some exciting, quote-unquote, times last year. I mean, let's remember how gross those games were that Tommy DeVito won. We remember him. I mean, he was catching news, like headlines on Fox News in the mornings. New York was in. Of course it was. It was a show. It was a sideshow. So Tommy DeVito to me is like Nick Foles if you bought it on Wish. Oh. Like, he's just the one guy who gave you the one moment and you'll never let it go. I mean, nobody's expecting Tommy DeVito to come in here and turn this thing around and be our franchise quarterback. This is grasping at any kind of spark you can find. Hell, Brian Daboll said so.
You don't get on Reddit, do you? Because there are a lot of Giant fans that are going, get the gabagool!
It's the dumb ones. Come on. Look, we know that they exist in every fan base. And, of course, there are, so many more people in New York and New Jersey that there's just going to be more of that in New York and New Jersey than there would be anywhere else. Of course, there are going to be the dum-dums.
Am I the only one that finds it really funny that the 2 biggest train wrecks in the NFL both play in New York City?
That you find it what?
Am I the only one that finds it funny? The 2 biggest train wreck franchises right now in the NFL are the New York Giants and the New York Jets.
I mean, can I be honest with you? We used to think it was funny, and now we just feel like it's sad. Like, I'm getting to that point where this is no longer entertaining, and I don't understand, like, how do you let this happen? In the biggest media market in the country, how is this just, and you can't run a franchise there, regardless of what it is. Now, the Knicks have made a hell of a comeback.
Have they won anything?
Talent-wise.
Have they won squat? Look, they
not
all
yet.
do that. They all do that because everybody wants to be the guy that saves New York. Everybody wants to be Batman, okay? They all think they're going to put on their little ears and they're going to come save the city from the Penguin and the Joker. And you know what happens every single time? Fat Man.
Yeah.
Jeremy in his 6-year-old costume because he's too fat, and now he looks like Pigeon Man. Mm-hmm. That's what happens with every single one of these.
Except for one. There's always the one, the New York Yankees. I mean, they have drama, they have storylines, but, I mean, at least they win. At least they are in the thick of it.
Okay.
Your football teams are terrible.
Okay, so I want your example here.
Yes.
Of, well, they're in it every single year.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about what that actually looks like. So in the last 20 years, they've won how many World Series again?
I mean, it's only been one.
There you go. You're in a lawless sport where you can spend however much money you want to in a sport that has the Kansas City Royals and the Cincinnati Reds. You've won one World Series in 20 years. Mm-hmm. You've only been to a handful. Yeah, they're a train wreck too. There's not a team around New York City, and I know, just save it. Well, they actually play in New Jersey. Of course they do. Do you know what real estate costs in Manhattan, stupid? Of course they play in New Jersey.
We're not eating that.
That stadium would have cost $400. It would have cost the gross domestic product of Mexico to build a stadium in Manhattan. I get so angry when people say, well, they're actually the New Jersey Jets. Tell me you don't know how real estate works without telling me you don't know how real estate works. What do you think they're going to do? Flatten Queens? Have you ever been to New York? A big apartment is the room we're sitting in.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that was
he's been holding that in for like 20 years.
I'm not going to lie to you. There are very few things that will piss me off the way that will.
Right.
And people say it, and I go, I want to hit you. Like, I want to hit you so hard. But I'm afraid that all of this pent-up frustration, I'm going to hit you so hard that your heart's going to stop. And then I got a whole new set of problems. New York is a pressure cooker.
Yes.
It doesn't work. You have so much media. You've got probably more newspapers in New York City than you have in most states.
Mm-hmm.
And you're all fighting for the back page. You want to be the story because you don't want to just be good. It's not good enough to be good. The Giants were good for a while. They weren't sexy. You know who stole headlines? Rex Ryan. Because Rex had a foot fetish, and Rex was weird, and Rex wanted to eat a gosh darn snack, and all the things he did.
Yeah.
That worked. That worked. Did it win you a Super Bowl? No, because he's a lunatic. But he was our lunatic.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at over the course of the last 30 years,
yeah,
who are the biggest names in New York sports?
The biggest names in New York sports over the last 30 years? I mean,
I'll let you go all the way back to Patrick Ewing.
Yeah.
He's certainly one of them.
I would say so.
Derek
You
Jeter.
got Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez and
I would not put Alex Rodriguez up there.
really.
He was never embraced in New York. He was never a New Yorker. He was an imitation guy.
Mm.
And the same way Aaron Rodgers is.
Yeah.
You're a Packer. Okay? You're a good old Midwestern boy that's come to the big city to make it big, and we don't accept you.
Yeah.
Okay? We just don't.
You had Eli Manning.
I wouldn't put him up there either.
Wow.
You won 2 Super Bowls, but in terms of if you ask a New Yorker who their favorite players were, you will never get one that says Eli Manning. Ever. Because it's not just good enough to be good. You have to be sexy, too.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Derek Jeter worked. Because Derek Jeter was a good-looking dude that dated
Mariah
smoke
Carey,
show
yeah.
supermodels and Mariah Carey. I will say, you look at his lineage, and Mariah Carey does stick out like a sore thumb of, something about her mouth. It talks, and it drives me crazy.
Okay.
New York's just a different place. And I tell people this all the time. You tell me, oh, well, the Jets are so poorly run. It breaks people's brains. Okay, Woody Johnson's a smart guy. John Mara's a smart guy. George Steinbrenner was a good guy. Said good guy. That was Freudian slip.
He was not a good guy.
He was not a good guy. He was a smart guy. His children, I think, are reasonably smart. But then you get to New York and you get dumb really fast. Because it's not good enough to just be good. You have to be interesting. You have to be sexy. You have to pull back pages. And that's the reason you're all losers. That's the reason every team in that state is a loser. At least until you get to the upstate part, which I'm going to be honest with you, is like Yancey County if you dropped it right in the middle of New York.
Right.
Upstate New York is not New York City. Those are 2 completely different states, and if you don't believe me, go look at a political map and see how different that is. I don't know that you can win in New York at a high level year in and year out at this point.
You certainly, well, I mean, yes, year in, year out, like dynasty's not happening, right? The New York Yankees should be winning more than they are. They've had a lot of things that have happened over the last few years, or the last 20 years, where you go, yeah, that team should have more. And the pressure cooker thing, I get it. But at this point, like, it used to be funny to me, the whole Jets gonna jet, Giants suck thing. Like, it was funny. But now it's just sad. Like, you would think with all of this at your disposal, right? You've got all the money in the world, all the marketing ability in the world, and you can't pull it together.
All right, so I'm glad
It's crazy.
I'm glad you said that way.
Yeah.
You told me before the show about a list of the most popular players in the NFL.
Yes.
Did you notice something about that list? You noticed one thing that I found funny.
Uh-huh.
I noticed a completely read the list.
Okay.
Most popular player in the NFL is who?
Travis Kelce.
Plays in Kansas City, Missouri.
He also dates the most popular person on the planet.
I get it. I get it.
Patrick Mahomes.
Kansas City.
Aaron Rodgers is 3.
Aaron Rodgers played in Green Bay for the vast majority of his career. He came to, and he was super popular before he came to New York.
Brock Purdy.
Plays in San Francisco.
Joe Burrow.
Plays in Cincinnati.
Russell Wilson,
Plays
6.
in Pittsburgh. And he played in Seattle. And he played in Denver.
Tyreek Hill.
Plays in Miami, but he was in Kansas City when he built his fame.
Christian McCaffrey.
Played in Carolina, Charlotte, one of the smallest markets in the league, and now he's in San Francisco.
Kirk Cousins is at 9.
Who was in Minnesota for the vast majority of his career and is now in Atlanta.
And Jalen Hurts at 10.
And is in Philadelphia. There's the biggest market that you gave me. Do you see a trend there? There's no New York there. There's no L.A. there. There's no Las Vegas there. There's no Dallas there. Biggest media markets in the country because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You put an Amazon Prime game in the snow between the god-awful Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns. And yes, I said what I said, and I meant it. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And guess what? We all watched it. I posted something on social media last night. Hundreds of comments immediately. Weird, because we're all watching Thursday Night Football. It doesn't matter where you are. New York's not an allure anymore. You know, you want to know what New York is at this point? It means I'm going to pay taxes that are astronomically higher than the rest of you are going to play. So I got to pay more to get guys here because they want to put more money in their bank accounts. Oh, and by the way, I can't go anywhere in this city without a paparazzo being in my face. I can't do anything without it winding up on the back page of the New York Post. Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to do that? I can live in complete anonymity in Miami and pay no state taxes. Why in the world would I want to come to New York? And New Jersey, same thing.
Right.
The tax rate's still astronomical. You're going to pay through the teeth just to exist here.
Yes.
I don't know that you can win in New York anymore. I think you've got things that are bigger than you that are hard to deal with. Guys don't want to deal with this. They don't want to deal with New York media being up their keister, asking every question about Aaron Rodgers or Daniel Jones or whatever the case may be. There's a reason you're all losers. You play different sports. You have completely different management structures. You have completely different ownership, and yet the story's always the same. It doesn't matter how much talent you put into these teams. They crash and burn. All of them. And New York Knicks, I hate to tell you this, you're about to do the same thing. I watched you the other night. I know exactly how this book ends. I've read it before. As a fan of New York sports, that's kind of difficult for me because I am a Jets fan. I was a Knicks fan for over 20 years. If I watched hockey, I'd pull for the New York Rangers. If I watched baseball, I'd pull for the New York Mets. Yes, I do see it funny that I pull for all the losers. I got it. Yankees are evil. Giants are evil. Sorry.
Yep.
It's the life of growing up a Jets fan. I just don't think you can win like this anymore. And I will tell. And this whole rant was aimed at one specific thing with Daniel Jones. I think he's going to get another shot in another market.
I do too.
I think he will get a shot as a starter in another market.
Eventually.
He won't. I don't think it's eventually. I think it's this year.
Really?
I believe he's going to waivers. Nobody's picking up his contract because they would have to be smoking just the most pure of crimes. But he's going to hit unconditional release. He will be an unconditional free agent. And I believe there is at least one team that will look at him and go, you know what? I think you're better than what I have. I think you're better than what I currently have. I think you may be better than what I can procure in the draft this year. Because the one guy that any of us have a real belief in the talent is Shadur Sanders. We like Cam Ward, but that's going to have to be a specific fit. Do you think Shadur Sanders wants to play for the New York Giants? All of this control that we've talked about that his father and he have of him pulling an Eli Manning. Ain't it funny? New York was the destination Eli wanted to get to. I could easily see it being the destination that Shadur tries to stay away from. I don't want to do that.
Right.
I don't want to go to the New York Giants. I'd rather go to Vegas. Vegas is fun. Vegas is warm. They've got dumpster fire ownership too, but I'm going to a bad team.
Right.
There are no quarterbacks. I'll force my way to Vegas.
The attention will be turned down, even in Vegas.
For sure. I don't want to deal with all that. Could you imagine Shadur Sanders in New York? Deion Sanders' son and the amount of media attention that would get?
It'd be a circus.
I'm good. And if I was Deion, I would be good. If I was Shadur, I'd be good. And if I was his representation, I would be looking at you right now going, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
I know what your plan is. You need a new plan because this plan is not good.
Unless you do the Deion thing. And the Deion thing would be, I'm big enough, I'm good enough, I can change anywhere. And I can come be the king of New York. I could totally see where he'd be into that.
Well, you know what's funny? A lot of quarterbacks have thought they could be the king of New York. You know who the last one was? Joe Willie Namath in 1972. That was 52 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen a lot of names come and go since. Eli Manning, you won 2 Super Bowls. You never got traction like that, ever. You weren't the king of New York. Michael Strahan was more the king of New York than you were, which is why he's on Good Morning America and you're doing a simulcast with your brother. I ask yourself this question: if it was Eli and Cooper, how much of that you watching?
None.
Exactly. Peyton got liquored up and sang karaoke in a Nashville honky tonk. That went viral. You think it'd go viral if Eli did it? Because I don't.
Yep. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. It is a Football Friday. We'll talk about Thursday night football when we come back.
Did you apply for FEMA help after the recent disaster and want to know the status of your application or how to appeal an eligibility decision?
FEMA may need more information to help you. Call 800-621-3362 or go online to disasterassistance.gov.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
What if you could hear your favorite song for the first time again? Introducing the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks. With an available Bose Personal Plus sound system that uses speakers in the headrest to create a 360-degree listening experience. You've never heard anything like this. Reimagine your music and your drive. Experience the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks for yourself at nissanusa.com today.
Available feature. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
When you're hiring, ZipRecruiter's technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. What if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
This is where it starts, where your story begins. This is the trail you blaze yourself. And step by step, you get stronger, faster, better. This is where it starts. How will you finish? Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks community heroes, like Eric, who hosted the football team to support their neighbors and begin the cleanup efforts, like Jeff and Chris, who led a fleet of Ford commercial vehicles throughout the night, delivering supplies with emergency services to all corners of the county and first responders. Nominate your community hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
What are you people? On dope?
Back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville last night. Jeremy, on Thursday Night Football, the Cleveland Browns.
How about them Cleveland Browns?
Pulling off the win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. I do believe that we had no faith that was going to happen. Of course, I didn't know it was going to snow 18 inches.
Hey, listen, meteorology people, maybe get your excrement together because that was a little bit more than a few snow flurries, bruh.
Mm-hmm. It's like this morning.
I gave you all the information yesterday. Vegas is telling you which way to bet this. You just have to have the huevos rancheros to do it, and I did not.
Nope, I did not either.
Anybody else see the irony that it didn't really snow for 3 quarters? Those two teams combined for 16 points. Then it turned into a snow globe, and they scored 27 points in the fourth quarter. Betting's fun, ain't it? I was sitting there with a ticket that said under 36.5 going, well, that's a layup. And it wasn't. And it wasn't a layup no more.
Nope. Cleveland Browns, though, I mean, they did what the Browns do. They gave Pittsburgh all the opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
Pittsburgh came back. There was so they had, what, a 12-point lead, and then they gave up back-to-back scores. They're down 1. Jameis throws an interception, gives the ball right back to him again. And
Jameis turned it over 2 times in the fourth quarter.
Right, and Pittsburgh can't do anything with it. And then you just gave up the game-scoring drive.
Jameis Winston, to me, is like the gift that keeps on giving. First of all, listening to him talk, I don't understand anything you say. Really, like nothing you say makes sense. Did you hear him on the field?
Oh yeah, he's just on another level.
He was screaming, "I ordered some dubs on Amazon. They'll be here about 9:30." What? Like, where did that even come from?
He just wants to eat some dubs.
I guess. He is a caricature of himself, and that's fine. Cleveland, if you want to enjoy that win, I don't blame you. I don't know that I would be enjoying it personally because you need some players, and every win pushes you further down the draft order.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and by the way, I don't really feel like you did anything to win that game. The bigger story is the team on the other side of the field, and we'll get to them in the next segment.
Mm-hmm. Jameis Winston is always going to be the same guy. He's always going to be the guy that can make the play, but he can also make the play that's going to hand it over. I was shocked when I recapped this game of how this all went down. If the Pittsburgh Steelers are what people tell me they are, why were you not able to win this game? Why were we did Russell Wilson get hurt?
No, we're going to talk about the Steelers in a minute.
I know this. I'm teasing. Because if he didn't, then we got some issues. I got questions. We got lots of questions.
I'm interested in the Cleveland Browns side of this.
Okay.
Where do you go from here? I'm being honest here. What is your next step? I feel like Kevin Stefanski is a dead man walking. I don't think you can do anything that's going to change that. You've had plenty of opportunity, and you've really not done much with it. Not nearly as much as you should have with the talent that you have.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching the roster last night going, who are the pieces that are going to be there in 2025? And what does that roster look like? I think you have a couple targets. Your offensive line needs Jehovah in a lot of places.
It does.
But the defense, I look at, and you've got players out there. I mean, there are guys on that defense that I really, really like.
Mm-hmm.
You get that defense back to full health, and you come up with even a competent plan at quarterback and with your offensive line, that team could be good in 25.
But you have to gut the coaching staff.
For sure.
I have to reset this.
For sure.
I have to we can't do this anymore because, as you said, we have too much talent to be this bad. No one survives this.
Well, you also run into a problem that against the cap, you're absolutely killed.
Well,
I mean, they're going to carry a bunch of carryover. I think they're $45 million under it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll carry that in next year because you're allowed to do the carryover thing. Even with that, I mean, they're $13 million over it right now. Deshaun Watson's a spent cost.
Mm-hmm. Do we have any other restructuring that can be done? Because whatever we have to do because
well, you can restructure a lot of Deshaun Watson's money.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me how that works because the only thing I can imagine is you're kicking the can down the road. You're getting into a level of the CBA that I looked at long ago and went, we'll never run into that.
Right.
So too long didn't read.
Exactly. It's also one of those, I'll let y'all figure that out, and then you can tell me how this goes when we get there.
There are a lot of pieces with that team that I think could be part of a winning institution.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Cleveland's as far away as everybody else does. But I am really glad I'm not the one that has to figure out that quarterback room. And that, I said all this to ask you one very simple question.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming Kevin Stefanski is gone, are you hiring the best coach? Or are you hiring the coach that you think can get the most out of Deshaun Watson?
I'm hiring the best coach.
I'm not. I believe you're stuck in some shape, form, or fashion with Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
You might be able to bring Jameis Winston, carry him as the backup. I don't really know. I don't know what your plan is with the roster. There tends to be a lot of churn with a new coach. I feel like for Cleveland to hit any kind of peak in this window, you got to find somebody that can actually get something out of Deshaun. Because you're stuck. I mean,
does that exist?
Physically, there is no way for them to cut him.
Mm-hmm.
I have sliced that pie every different way. He will be on this roster in 2025.
No doubt.
So do you not try to find somebody that can work with him? Do you not just hope, and maybe it's a blind hope, but you hope to all hope that this is just he and Kevin Stefanski didn't jive, and there's still talent in there that somebody could get out of it?
That's a pretty narrow spot to put yourself in.
Well, they're in a narrow spot.
Right, I get it.
Look at every good player on this roster. Look at what their age is.
Yeah, you're between a rock and a hard place here because you do have a window. I hate calling it a window because I don't feel like there's a window there. But you do have a lot of talent on the team. You do have to get the most out of it that you can. But is there a guy that fits that bill of I'm bringing in a guy to work with Deshaun Watson, but also he's my guy for the future?
I got one.
Who?
Bill O'Brien.
I was thinking that, but how? I mean, is that?
I'm not giving you personnel control.
Is that a good relationship though?
I don't think it's great, but you've also had two guys that were completely humbled. Look, I've read that book before of two guys that when you were at the height of your hubris, you didn't get along real hot.
Mm-hmm.
And then you went out into the world, and the world mushed your face because those two have been mushed over the last 5 years. Bill O'Brien is coaching a horrendous Boston College team that's not very good.
Mm-hmm.
The quarterback just walked out of the program. Deshaun Watson at this point is the biggest liability in sports. I'm at least making the call.
Yeah.
It's an offense he's comfortable in that worked. Because I tell you, it sure as hell didn't work with Kevin Stefanski.
But what happens if it doesn't?
What are you out? Because I got news for you. All right, let's say, name me the coach, and not Ben Johnson, because Ben Johnson ain't taking his job. Name me any other coach that you would feel good about them hiring in Cleveland. I don't care the name. It doesn't really matter.
Bobby Slowick.
All right, Bobby Slowick comes in here. The offense doesn't jive with Deshaun Watson. Hey, guess what? He's fired in 3 years anyway, and everybody's out of the building anyway. Mm-hmm. What do you got to lose? Myles Garrett's 32 years old. Like, we're at the end here. You got a bunch of other guys that are not spring chickens. You got a lot of 20. I'm looking at the roster right now. You got a lot of 28, 29, 31, 32. There's a bunch of older guys on this roster. Bringing in Bobby Slowick, you're throwing a dart at a board. Bringing in Bill O'Brien, I'm bringing in a successful coach that I know worked with my quarterback. That is the best chance I have to be successful. I know it's gross. I know you got to hold your nose to do it. I'm well aware of that. What else you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
That highest-end offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, he'll take one look at Deshaun Watson and go, that's going to be a no from me, dog. I think Bobby Slowick would look at the same thing.
Probably.
He's been in Houston for 2 years. I promise you he's heard some things about Deshaun Watson that were probably none too happy.
But if I'm Bill O'Brien, do I want to take that?
I want back in the NFL. Shot? I want back in the NFL, and I don't care who it is. If you're the one that if you're who will give me the opportunity, because I would be looking around at Boston College going, uh-oh, I feel the walls are caving in. This feels a lot like the place I went to die. I don't want to die here. Do not leave me in this building to die.
Yeah.
I started thinking about it last night, and it got in my head. And once it got in my head, I couldn't get it to go away.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I telegraphed that. I figured that's kind of the path you were leading me down, and it's not a horrible idea.
People forget how good of a coach Bill O'Brien was. They can't separate Bill O'Brien, the coach, from Bill O'Brien, the GM.
No.
He gutted that roster. He's terrible. He wouldn't even have the huevos to ask you, give me personnel control. Are you smoking Christ? No, we're gonna have a GM. It could be a parent. I don't care what you do there. I really don't. There is only one thing that the next head coach of the Cleveland Browns has to do, and that is figure out a way to make Deshaun Watson not a complete liability. I think that's your best shot.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. When we come back, we'll be talking with the coach. Kent Briggs is next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Snow showers tapering off, but still in through some of the higher elevations. We may have some additional accumulations with winter weather advisories continuing. Elsewhere, sunshine, a few clouds, and 43 with a gusty breeze this afternoon. Tonight, staying cloudy, breezy, 35. Saturday, sunshine, near 50 with a gusty northwest wind. Sunday, sunshine, milder, up close to 65. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Using a Clorox disinfecting wipe to clean that stuck-on sauce from the stove feels like...
Oh, boy. That tickles. Stop.
It feels like coming home to your needy corgi after a long day.
Best part of the day, finally.
With Clorox, clean feels carefree. Clean feels good. Use as directed.
As we're recovering from Hurricane Helene, count on Lowe's for help with cleanup and repair. With necessities like roofing, lumber, and electrical in the quantities you need. Visit Lowe's in-store or online to find out about relief efforts in your area or get emergency supplies now.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at ParksFordHendersonville.com. That's ParksFordHendersonville.com.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, ain't God?
It is ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy. Welcome back in on a
Football Friday.
And we got the coach with us, as always, on a Friday afternoon. The legendary head coach, Kent Briggs.
No, I'm not legendary, but I've been a coach, that's for sure. And, hey, thanks for having me here again. I love Football Fridays, and I like the way you say it, Jeremy. And just a privilege to be here and talk about something I really love.
Yeah.
Y'all do too. The yelling at thing came from a very simple premise. If you just yell things at people, they think you know what you're talking about.
No, that's, you know what? It's funny because this week I had my coaching class do skills. You know, they taught, I had a presentation on teaching a skill. And the ones that actually got loud and commanding in their voice, I mean, all of a sudden the athletes kind of like, oh, you know what you're talking about. And sometimes you can get away with that. That's a good way to, you know, if you have to fill in the blanks with things and be loud.
Yeah.
Any player that ever played for me when I was coaching basketball, they would say, "You think he yells a lot now?" Put a suit on him.
See what he does.
He yells
then.
a whole lot.
See what he does when you put him in charge. I love the way that he screams the Football Friday because it's what we're all feeling.
No,
like,
exactly.
When you get all amped up for the game, I mean, it's all getting ready to happen, right? We're all trying to get excited for our teams, or if we're going out on the field and playing, or if you're getting ready to coach, or whatever your role is. It's always about getting up for the game, and when winning and losing matters to everybody. I mean, the hype gets intense.
Well, you know, look at game day. To me, the game day setup it really is actually better than the games a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, watching that whole episode and watching people be fired up before the game really is what makes college football so hot. And all football, but especially college football. I mean, it's so hot right now.
Yeah.
Even though, again, you've got all these factors, the transfer and all these things about bowl games and stuff, but it all comes down to everybody loves it. And even ones probably don't really like football that much, they like being in that crowd and that enthusiasm. And that's what life's all about, is being enthusiastic.
Oh, yeah, and you can pull for your school. You don't necessarily have to be a former athlete to enjoy the game.
Oh,
you don't even really have to know the game.
You don't have to be from that school.
Right. You look at all – it's one of the things I love about college football as opposed to professional football is that you don't get the atmospheres that you get in college football in the NFL. There are very few stadiums that can create that. We know that, like, Seattle's capable of it. We know
Seattle's just loud.
Right. We know that Kansas City can get raucous. We know that there are some, but it's a different life
Seattle
when you get
built
into
a
college
bandbox.
football.
You don't get what we saw at South Carolina. I mean, even in Atlanta, you're watching Georgia and Clemson. That atmosphere was not collegiate. Then you get on campus, and this is different.
Yeah.
This is different. I like this.
Yep. Yeah, the game these days, it's all about winning and losing, though, right? We're all judged on how the outcome of the game is. Fran Brown, a guy I know that you're very familiar with.
Right.
Fran Brown was on your staff at Western Carolina, correct?
No, he was actually a player for us.
Oh, he was a player at Western Carolina. Excuse me.
And, but, he got into football right after he graduated at Western. And actually, when Matt Rule got the Temple job, Matt hired him as an assistant. And, of course, his career just blossomed. But, when he was a player, he was so mature. Most kids, when they come in, they have a lot of immaturity, and they have a lot of different things they want to do. Fran knew what he wanted to do right when he walked on campus. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't a surprise for me that he moved up so quick. Again, the surprise of him getting that head coaching job this early in his career was fantastic, but really he earned it. And a great recruiter, and he was at a perfect place for his background. I know he fits what Syracuse needed, and the people that he brings in, the players and families, because when you recruit a player, you recruit a family. He can really relate, being from Camden and being through a really, tough environment when he was in high school. And there are some people in that tough environment, you see really good people in that environment, but you see them never make it out, and bad things happen, or they never, never making stuff out of themselves. But, Fran did, and, look where he is at now. I'm very proud of him.
And you should be. However, I don't know if you should be proud of the fact that when he loses games, he doesn't feel like he deserves soap, because only winners deserve soap. I don't deserve to wash my nastiness if I lose and just wallow in my own filth. Was that your doing? Did you teach that to him?
No, I don't do that. Or I'd be really dirty, a lot of times in my career. I understand where he was coming from. It's all about motivation, and you try to motivate your athletes, you motivate people in your program. And motivation comes from reward. Nobody does anything unless it's something they're going to gain from. And you say, well, I gave this money to the church because, it was nothing for me. They didn't do anything for me, but it did something for you. So it was a reward. So, as a coach, you're always trying to motivate your players. And, he put in there, well, to win, you gain things. And when you don't win, you don't gain them. And I think he was trying to use that. Again, I haven't talked to him about it.
Right.
I would have never used that example, but it's still, as a player, you're listening to your coach, especially after a loss, and, thinking like, hey, we lost, the opportunity to get something that we really need and want. And I think that kind of goes back to the shower thing.
Right. I think two of the most amazing things to me in sports is how individuals handle, one, getting up for the game, and two, how you reward or punish yourself after the game. It's just that handling of the pressure, how you deal with it mentally. Some dudes like Fran want to punish themselves and, lock yourself away and dive into the film and not take a shower.
Fran goes no soap. I went no sober. We were close. The same start of a word. But.
Yeah, it's like, self-medication, right? We put so much into it as a coach and players, and you get that few opportunities compared to 365 days a year that you're working for it. You may get 12, maybe a little more if you go to a bowl game or a playoff, but you put so much into it, and when you do lose, it's so devastating from all the work you put in. And the sad thing about sports, too, and it really is so hard to fight, but you never get as high from winning as you do getting low for losing. And it should be balanced, but it's not. after you have a big win, that night afterwards, maybe the next day, you're so happy and you feel so good about things. Then it kind of ends because you start ready for the next week. But when you lose, I mean, it's like the whole week. It could be 2 weeks. It could be the whole rest of the year. And it is devastating to people that actually care and put so much into it. And, when you see coaches say things that they probably shouldn't have said, in the media, I think about Matt Brown. I think about, and he's a great coach, great motivator, great recruiter. But, when you put yourself in that position because you put so much into it, you're liable to say things that really is not the right thing to say, but that's what you feel at the moment. And, I'm sure Fran probably's taken a shower, since then. I don't know for sure.
Yes.
But the point is, after you lose, you're in a state of mind that is really kind of dangerous in a way. And I know I always had a rule, after a game, if a parent came up to, especially in high school, because parents are so much more right there after a game, that if they want to talk about their son, about playing time or something that happened in the game, and want to be, maybe cause an argument or anything, I would say, hey, wait till Monday when my head's clear and your head's clear, and we can have a real logical, meaningful, discussion on, hey, we both want the same thing. We want what's best for your son.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about Fran is he will take a shower the next day, apparently.
Okay.
It's just for that one day that he doesn't deserve soap.
So his family has to pay the price.
Precisely. Like, I feel bad for his wife. Like, I don't want to do that. But I do agree with his wife because he said she will not allow him to sleep in the bed if he hasn't had a shower, and she is well within her rights to do so.
Exactly.
Joining us on the program, as he does every Football Friday, head coach Kent Briggs, the regular guy coach. You can check out the podcast up on the Spotify. It's also connected or linked up on our website, thesportsocracy.com. We'll have a new episode coming out next week that focuses on the cancer battle of Kent Briggs. It's an amazing story, and I'm forever grateful that you let me be a part of it.
No, gosh, I'm grateful for y'all giving me the opportunity. Especially talking about cancer. It's not just cancer. It's about anybody or any disease or anything that's caused you to have loss or be threatened, your life threatened, or just changed. And I think we all can relate to that personally, and definitely with people in your family, your friends, but everybody has something.
Yep.
And we all face adversity. And, I've had my battles like everybody else. And, football, athletics has really taught me some things to help me battle that. And I like to share that. Not that you had to play a sport, but I think it still relates to how you overcome adversity and how you fight through things, how you never, quit working or quit trying to live. It's a great learning experience, and I was taught really well.
The regular guy coach, Kent Briggs. Check out the podcast, and you can follow the coach as well on Facebook at Regular Guy KB. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
If you're living with chronic joint pain in your knees, hips, lower back, and shoulders, I've got exciting news for you.
Emmett Smith, all-time rushing leader and Hall of Famer.
Now you can get relief from pain without harmful medications and surgery. Call my guys at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics specializes in biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue. I'm talking about natural pain treatments now available, not just for pro athletes, but to people like you.
At QC Kinetics, we're seeing patients every day who suffer from chronic joint pain but who desperately wanted to avoid surgery. We're treating joint pain with biologic therapies, regenerative solutions with long-lasting results.
Listen, it's all about getting your life back. Playing touch football with kids, walking upstairs pain-free, getting back on a job, and patients at QC Kinetics are raving about the results.
QC Kinetics. Call to learn more about restorative treatments that can get you back in the game.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
Nothing says welcome home like insanely clean carpets from Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. For a limited time, get 3 rooms cleaned for just $129. Easily schedule your cleaning online at ZeroResAsheville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Told you.
He did make me think.
Don't do it.
Live from the Ingalls studio.
Don't do it unless you want to hear how I feel.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
Best just put that on conversation probation and leave it alone.
On ESPN Asheville.
It's time to kick off the perfect tailgate and take your team to Ingalls. Chips and guac made fresh in store every day. The best meat in town packaged fresh every day. And smiling faces giving you their best every day. Let's be real. In the South, football season is our favorite season of the year. There's a lot to smile about, especially with deals like these. Ingalls. Low prices, love the savings.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks community heroes. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the areas that were hardest hit in those first hours. Like Spencer, who helped build a bridge out of debris to rescue 7 families after the road was washed away. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Coffee closes on me. Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
Well, last week I did it my way, and I learned something. My way sucks. So I'm going to do it a slightly different way. This week, I literally looked at the games. I wrote down my first thought on everything, and I've stared at them every single day. And this is what we came up with. Arizona State's a 3-point favorite at home against BYU. I don't know if people are just too sleepy to watch Arizona State or if maybe BYU has some kind of hex on Vegas. This line is dumb. Arizona State is going to throttle BYU because that running attack is getting better. The offense is dynamic. They're the better team here. Nobody wants to talk about this. Arizona State could end up in the playoff, and I think the talk of it starts right here. Give me the Sun Devils -3. North Carolina's a 2.5-point favorite at Boston College, and I can't say that without laughing. The team with one of the best running backs in the country against a team that can't stop the run, and I'm not even laying a field goal. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Give me the Tar Heels -2.5. USC is a 4.5-point favorite at UCLA. There will be 0 defense played. None on either side. This will be first to 50 wins. The difference is I've got 2 good quarterbacks and one team that can't run a greasy peg up a cat's keister, and that's UCLA. Give me the Trojans -4.5. Colorado's only catching 2.5 at Kansas. Okay, I would give the band Kansas a better chance to beat Colorado than I would Rock Chalk. Give me Colorado -2.5. And finally, I love preying on the corpse that is Brent Venables. Alabama's a 13.5-point favorite at Oklahoma. They may beat them 56-4. Oklahoma can't stop anybody. Jalen Milroe, big. Give me the Tide -13.5.
And you can take all those wagers over to the DraftKings Sportsbook. We'll be right back here on ESPN Asheville and a Football Friday.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Snow showers tapering off, but still in through some of the higher elevations. We may have some additional accumulations with winter weather advisories continuing. Elsewhere, sunshine, a few clouds, and 43 with a gusty breeze this afternoon. Tonight, staying cloudy, breezy, 35. Saturday, sunshine, near 50 with a gusty northwest wind. Sunday, sunshine, milder, up close to 65. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. As you are all recovering from Hurricane Helene, count on Lowe's for help with cleanup and repair. Visit Lowe's in-store or online to find out about relief efforts in your area or get emergency supplies now.
Dan Scott here, inviting you to check out my new show every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. here on ESPN Asheville, where we bring sports and faith together. The Dan Scott Show, 8 a.m. Sundays on ESPN Asheville.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls Studio.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy is live on a
Football Friday
inside the Ingalls studio. You can take us with you everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. And you can also watch us on the YouTubes. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat and get all of your super chats in for the day. All of your trash talking to Jeremy about how bad his picks have been over the last few weeks.
It's been a bleak month. Probably actually the worst month I've ever had. I believe October was the worst month I've ever had betting football.
Mm-hmm.
Excuses. There are no excuses.
I think we went full 50-50 last week on all of the games that we disagreed on Football Friday. So, anytime that I can keep up when it comes to the picks, I feel like I'm doing okay.
Look, there's a banger week coming, and I believe it started last night with Thursday night football.
Yeah, hopefully you had the stones to go Cleveland plus the 3.5.
I told you to do it, and then at the end I said I can't physically do it, but I gave you all the information.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I went with the Cleveland side with the Pittsburgh side, and that didn't work out for me.
So I have one question with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
What exactly is it you'd say you were doing last night? Offensively, what was that?
I don't have a good answer. I mean, it's a whole lot of ugly football, which seems to be the Mike Tomlin calling card.
Good teams don't lose that game. Period.
Agreed.
Jameis Winston gave you the ball at the 26-yard line.
Mm-hmm. George Pickens can talk about the snow all he wants to.
Yeah, the snow is not why you lost. You are why you lost.
Mm-hmm.
George Pickens, you know what? We've communicated before on a project we did in the past. I like the kid. But if you think first of all, the PI you're whining about with Martin Emerson, that's not PI. I hate to break this to every modern-day receiver. Throwing a back shoulder pass to a receiver where you have to come back, as long as the corner turns his head, that's not pass interference. I don't care what he does to you.
Right.
You're running through his traction. He is entitled to the space his feet are sitting upon. You can't come back through him. That's not how this works. I know there are officiating crews that'll let you get by with that. That's not PI. Never has been, never will be. Just because you get a flag doesn't mean you deserved one. So maybe just, I don't know, shut the hell up. It would be my advice because you're completely wrong.
Absolutely.
This is a team that is not built for success. I've said this all year long. I don't care what your record is, and this gave me a perfect time to explain what I'm talking about. What are the Pittsburgh Steelers right now? How does this team win football games? What is the calling card?
I'd say it'd have to be your defense.
That looked like a defense last night. And I get, it was in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. They had to play in it too. I don't know why that's so difficult to figure out. They played in it too.
I mean, this team is they are a team that can gross you out. I mean, most times if you give up 17 to 20 points in a game, you think you got a chance to win those. And they did. They had chances to win.
This is a decent defensive team. Right now, they're 10th in the NFL in yards allowed.
Mm-hmm.
They're behind the New York Jets and the San Francisco 49ers. Neither one of those defenses are good. You're not winning games that way.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to break it to you. You will not beat Pat Mahomes that way. You will not beat any contender in the AFC that way. All right? Your secondary makes my brain hurt. But it's worked to this point. You're 8-3.
Yeah.
Offensively, what does this team do well?
Nothing.
And there's your problem.
You're nothing exceptional.
And there's your problem. Because you're right. They are nothing exceptional. The running game is a slog. It has been forever. Mm-hmm. And I get it. You're in the top, they're 10-ish in rushing. You do it a lot. I mean, a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you a funny story about Pittsburgh. How many teams in the NFL have rushed more than the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I'll say none.
It's 0. How many teams in the NFL average less yards per carry than the Pittsburgh Steelers? This is not 0.
2.
It's 8.
Oh,
you want to hear who those teams are?
Yes.
The Raiders, the Cowboys, the Rams, the Chiefs, the Browns. Oh, and I lied. They're 6. Sorry, it flashed up my team. I saw the Jets, and I just assumed they were behind Pittsburgh. You're behind the Jets. You're the 6th worst rushing team per carry in the NFL. That doesn't constitute a good running team. You're Frank Goring games.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you do something a lot does not mean you're good at it. And they're not. Now, let's get into your quarterback situation. How many receivers do you have that you trust?
None.
You should trust George Pickens. He's pretty good.
Oh, you mean just to catch the ball? Yeah.
No, I mean, how many guys do I trust can consistently get open?
Yeah, I guess George.
That's it.
Yeah.
How many teams in the NFL are worse in terms of passing yards per game than the Pittsburgh Steelers? It's also 6. The New York Giants, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Tennessee Titans, the Chicago Bears, Carolina Panthers, New England Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You are smoke and mirrors. That's what Pittsburgh is. It's what they have been. You are smoke and mirrors. There is nothing good about this team. Your record's good, and I could argue that's actually a detriment. Because right now, I feel like Pittsburgh Steelers fans are hearing what I'm saying, and they're going, hater. My wife said that to me last night. You're just a hater. Honey, I don't hate your team because I don't care about your team. Your team is so irrelevant that it's pathetic. And yet you're always here. I'm a little envious of that you can find a way to always be competitive, but you're not a threat to anybody. The Los Angeles Chargers don't look at this team and go, oh, God, we got to play Pittsburgh. Baltimore's not terrified of playing this team. Kansas City's not worried about playing you. Frankly, I would make the argument all 6 of them are going, yeah, that's the one I want. Give me that one.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Pittsburgh. And then last night, you, in a moment of complete weakness, because you're playing in a snow globe, you've got Russell Wilson, who's been fine. I do not know where this narrative is coming from that he's been so good, unless it's just people looking at stat lines going, he threw for 270 yards.
Right.
Yeah, he did.
He threw for 270 yards, and he completed, 70% of his passes? That's where that narrative comes from. Oh, look, he's efficient. He is, quote-unquote, good. They're 8-2, or 8-3 now, but, coming into this game, they're 8-2, and he hasn't lost. Everybody wants to draw that comparison because it looks okay on a stat sheet.
Russell Wilson's played 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
He's completed 94 passes in 5 games. That's not good. That's not
but
good.
That's Steelers
that's
football.
not modern day. But it's not modern day NFL football.
Sure.
Okay, so it's Steeler football.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, let's talk about Steeler football, shall we? You do realize that you have never aged out of Steeler football. This is the only team in the NFL that still tries to win that way. Name me another one.
Yeah.
Even the Philadelphia Eagles at some point looked at this and went, well, we probably should have A.J. Brown. And we have a quarterback that doesn't throw particularly well, but we do need him to complete those big passes, so we need a high-end receiver.
The Baltimore Ravens. I think they're probably the closest.
Baltimore Ravens have an elite quarterback who is faster than practically anybody on the field.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing this at a much higher level than you are. But we beat Baltimore. Yeah, and the Cleveland Browns just beat you. You really want to do the transitive property? Because you're not going to like how it goes. What's the impressive win for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Look up and down the
Baltimore. Who also lost to the Cleveland Browns.
Yep. If you take Baltimore away, 2 is what? They beat the Commanders?
Yes.
In a game that you fell completely face forward into?
Mm-hmm. There's no other win on that schedule that...
The Chargers were relatively impressive.
Were they?
The Falcons were relatively impressive, but it's very early in the season.
I was going to say, remember how bad they were. Mm-hmm. Remember how awful the Falcons were. And we all went, oh, God, this is the Kirk Cousins that we're going to get this season? The Chargers were lost. Didn't really know what they wanted to be yet. They hadn't found this. They hadn't found what's happening right now yet. In hindsight, those look like good wins or decent wins. And I guess every win to some level is decent, but sometimes they're not. When you beat up on a Raiders team, when you beat up on a Jets team, I'm not really impressed by that.
The old adage of you are what your record says you are, that's true to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
But there are times that you have to dig into that. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are one of those teams. They know how to win. They know how to win in games when they play teams that don't. Because I want you to think about what I just said about all of their best wins. Washington's a really young team that has absolutely no idea how to win.
Mm-hmm.
They should have beaten you. They had you beat.
Yeah, they were up late in the fourth quarter.
I think they got completely screwed by an official. I believe Zach Ertz had a first down and the game was over anyway. You play a Charger team that was 3 games in with a new coach, and you played an Atlanta team that doesn't know how to win. Those are your big wins. You know what you don't get to do in the AFC playoffs? Play any team like that. Because you're going to come up against a team like Baltimore, like Kansas City, like Buffalo.
And you hope you catch them.
Like Houston.
And you hope you catch them on a night where Lamar Jackson is the worst he's ever been.
I don't think they can beat Baltimore in the playoffs. I don't.
Probably not.
I don't. I think you walk into playoff football with Rusty Shackelford here, and 7 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in 5 games is not winning games in the NFL. It's just not. Not in January, it's not. Oh, we won a lot of games in October. Whoop-de-doo. Good for you. You know what that and $1 will get you? A Coke.
Yeah, many of them against teams that don't matter.
And what made me want to pull my hair out last night was no team in the NFL thinks it is a good idea to run 2 quarterbacks. Nobody. Mike Tomlin does. Arthur Smith does. In a game that really Russell Wilson's not doing a whole lot for you. Once that turned into a snow globe, they had George Pickens wide open in the back of the end zone. He couldn't see the ball. Bass was behind him, but he couldn't locate the ball. That's a problem. You have a quarterback in Justin Fields that is basically Taysom Hill on steroids. Taysom Hill ran for 174 yards on 7 carries the week before against this team. Why did you not look at that and go, all right, if we're doing this, let's go all in on Justin Fields. We're going to run it down the field. Rusty, sorry about your luck. Last night was the first time I've looked at Mike Tomlin and gone, you got outcoached. Straight up, you lost the Pittsburgh Steelers this game because they gave you every opportunity. Beanie Bishop had an interception, hit him right in the hands. Jameis Winston fumbles on the 26-yard line. And you got outcoached. Mm-hmm. I don't know why you're so attached to Russell Wilson. I don't know what you think that's going to do. I have absolutely no idea. But when I watch this team, that does not look like an AFC playoff team. They don't look like the LA Chargers. They don't look like the Kansas City Chiefs. They don't look like the Buffalo Bills. They look like an imitator. 7 teams have to make the playoffs. You will be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't get real comfortable. Wouldn't worry about blocking off that second weekend because I don't think you're going to need it.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. We'll preview the games this weekend. Coming up next.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can easily find coverage options that fit your budget. If only it was that easy to name your baby.
How about Jaden?
Nope.
Okay. Michael?
Went to middle school with a glue-eating Michael.
Sebastian?
Dated one in college.
How about Damien?
Vampire name.
All right. Greg?
Not feeling it.
Okay. No worries. No worries. Jeffrey?
Oh, love that one.
Wait, really?
No.
Find coverage options that fit your budget with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It's time to kick off the perfect tailgate and take your team to Ingles. Chips and guac made fresh in store every day. The best meat in town packaged fresh every day. And smiling faces giving you their best every day. Let's be real. In the South, football season is our favorite season of the year. There's a lot to smile about, especially with deals like these. Ingles. Low prices, love the savings.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks community heroes. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the areas that were hardest hit in those first hours. Like Spencer, who helped build a bridge out of debris to rescue 7 families after the road was washed away. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
You are a regular nuclear meltdown. You better cool off.
It is ESPN Asheville. The Sportsocracy is live in Ingles studio. Coming up on Monday, don't forget you can come on out to the lighting of the Giving Tree at the Asheville Mall. Jeremy and I will be there Monday evening.
And don't worry, it won't be cold because it's supposed to be 70. It snowed today.
Yes, it did.
It's going to be 70 on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's going to have the sniffles on Tuesday.
Yes, everybody's getting sick. Anyway, the Ingles Giving Tree gets lit up on Monday night. You can come on and join us for that at the Asheville Mall. Ingles trying to raise as much money as possible, as always, for Manna Food Bank. It is the giving season, so you can get a $5 Giving Tree icon at the checkout at any Ingles supermarket this holiday season. If you come on out to the event on Monday, you also have an opportunity before the lighting of the Giving Tree to get in on the drawing for a $500 Ingles gift card with an icon purchase.
We also have our first Super Chat of the day.
All right.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
We have our first Thursday night flexion from Soaring Eagle. Week 16 Thursday night football, Browns-Bengals has been flexed. It is now Broncos-Chargers. That'll be a lot more fun to watch.
Agreed. That'll be more fun to watch. I don't know that it's going to be all that more entertaining, though. I mean, by that point, this Broncos, I'm on the fence about the Broncos.
You should be.
That one could go horridly for Denver.
I don't know if it could go horridly. It's a much more influential game, and I understand why they flexed it to Thursday Night Football.
Yes.
Look, I feel like people don't necessarily always understand the pecking order here of how these games are determined. Because people think Monday Night Football gets first draw. They don't. Sunday Night Football gets first draw.
Mm-hmm.
Fox and CBS get 2 and 3. And I don't remember if Thursday Night Football or Monday Night Football gets 4. That's the reason that you very rarely ever have the best game of the week on Monday Night Football. And there are steps to that and things like everybody gets a first crack eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they try to be as fair as humanly possible. Week 16 is actually a pretty good week of football.
This week may not be.
Nope.
May not be because
I'll take the May out. It's not. It's a turd burger.
So let's get to the first game of the 1:00 slate. Right down the road at Bank of America Stadium.
Chiefs.
The Carolina Panthers back in town. The Kansas City Chiefs are 10.5-point favorites. I mean, yes, it has to be Chiefs.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you're going to give me a reason to take the Carolina Panthers, I will listen to it. I will laugh at it, but I will listen to it, and then I will take Kansas City.
More important question is, do they hit the over of 43 points?
No, I'll say under. I hate this game for all things fantasy football, DFS. I'm good. I will say this is 27-12. Chiefs.
Okay. 27-12, says Flostradamus. This sounds about right to me. It's not a game where, and they never do this anyway, flex your muscle game, right? It's not really worth it to do that. It's the Carolina Panthers. What are you trying to prove? Are the Carolina Panthers even capable of sneaking up on a Kansas City team? No. Let's go to the Detroit-Indianapolis Colts game. That's a 7.5-point spread. Detroit Lions. And I'll gladly take it.
As will I. It would make me a little bit nervous that copious amounts of money is on the Detroit Lions, and this line has not moved. That always scares me. When I see Vegas go, good, keep doing it, and they don't feel the urge to stop you, I could see this game being closer than people think. I'm just not really sure how.
I was going to say, but how does that happen? Because, I mean, the Detroit Lions are scoring 40 points a week at will.
Mm-hmm.
The Indianapolis Colts don't have a defense to stop that.
No.
Is Kenny Moore going to do anything against Amon-Ra St. Brown?
No.
Detroit minus the 7.5 for me.
I do like the zone breaker in this game, so I'm pretty high on Jameson Williams. I will tell you a stat about this game that when I was doing my prep for this, Anthony Richardson is one of the first quarterbacks I've ever seen that has a higher quarterback rating when he is pressured than in a clean pocket.
Mm-hmm.
It's 5 points higher when he's pressured. Never. I don't remember another guy that I could say that about.
What does that lend to when he's forced to make decisions, he gets lucky and makes the right ones?
No,
or is it when you're
he
pressured, he makes the right ones, period?
Which the right one is he runs. The best thing you do is run. You should run more.
Mm-hmm.
Stop throwing because you're bad at it.
Over, under 50.5.
Under.
I agree.
Begrudgingly.
I agree.
Because I'm not sure Detroit doesn't put 42 of that up themselves.
If I thought that were going to be the case, then
I kind of
maybe
do.
Maybe I'd be on the over side. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a shutout.
Gomaha said the Colts are a live dog because Detroit plays on Thanksgiving. I agree. I think that's why the line has stayed where it is, because there is a possibility that you get the look ahead because they play on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
I also think the Colts defense is absolutely so unbelievably bad that Ben Johnson may just toy with them. This is the game where I see Khalif Raymond scoring a touchdown. Not on a kick return. Like, just try him out there as a receiver and see ya.
Another 1 o'clock game. Let's go Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tommy DeVito.
Hey, get the gabagool. I'll let you pick this one first because I have a funny feeling I know what you're going to do.
New York Giants, they are a 6-point dog. And I want it. I want to do it. So I'm going to do it.
Do it.
New York Giants.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers
Plus the
didn't
6.
think about this for 1 second. The way to beat your team is to throw into open windows because you leave so many of them open. Tommy DeVito can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
He's
going to have he'll have plenty of opportunity.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't like this game at all. I like Tampa Bay to win by a lot.
By a lot. I hope it goes your way. I don't think it's gonna. Tampa Bay always has these games where it's not supposed to be close, but it is close. And I think it comes down to a field goal at the end.
I don't.
Over, under 41.
Under.
Oh, could not disagree more.
Third under in a row. Yeah, as somebody that's watched a full game of Tommy DeVito, I think you're underestimating how bad he is.
Mm-hmm.
He is pitifully awful. And the fact that the Giants went, well, we think he gives us a better chance to get a little spark. Well, that means you think Drew Lock is completely incompetent and doesn't have you should not be paying him money.
It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. We have the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans.
Now, here's a game that I did think about way longer than I probably should have.
Did you really? All because of the slump?
It's not really the slump. It's a short week for Houston. Yes, they stayed home through both. I'm just not – they're not sending me. That being said, neither is Tennessee. And the defense is not as good as it was. You've lost – you've had a little bit of atrophy. I think Houston finds a way to cover this, but I think they cover it late.
Mm-hmm.
I believe this game's closer for way longer than people think.
Over, under 40.5.
Fourth under in a row. I think this is a very low-scoring week. Until it's not, and we'll get to that momentarily.
Right. Okay. I'll be on the other side from you on that one. I'll go over the 40.5. We're both on the Houston Texans minus the 8. And then the other suckitude game of the week in the 1 o'clock slate. Washington and Dallas.
Oh, you know what's funny? There were 3 games that I thought you could say there. And I would have been completely fine with it. This is a game that I will go ahead and tell you I am taking the over. Some of the smart money's on the under.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I will take Washington minus the 10.5. But I'm not going to lie. I thought about it a little longer than I should have.
Did you? I mean, if Dallas was healthy, I would probably think about it. Like if you had Dak Prescott out there.
I don't care. Who defends CeeDee Lamb? I still look at that secondary going, I think I could get it to CeeDee Lamb enough for him to make this competitive.
To do a little damage.
I hate the hook. I really hate that half a point because this feels like a Washington's up 7. Later in the fourth quarter, they kick a field goal. Cowboys never get over the 50-yard line again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not enough for me to cover. I'm going to take Washington, but I don't love it.
Washington, I think, will hit this spread. At some point in the game, they're going to hit this. They are going to be covering, and it's not going to cover. There's, to me, no chance that Dallas wins this game. Washington will be ahead by more than 10 points.
You're talking about a backdoor cover is what that's called.
Yeah, and they will blow it at some point. I don't think Dallas comes back to win it, but I also feel like it's going to get more interesting than you think.
So you're taking Dallas plus 10.5.
Absolutely.
You were a braver man than I was. If I was going to do that, I would have done it on Cleveland. If I'm taking the last night, the team that makes zero sense of how they're going to cover, I'll just take them to win it. Cleveland. That one would have worked. I don't think this one's going to work.
Over under the 45.5.
Oh, over.
Agreed. So we're both on the over. You're on Washington to cover the 10.5. I'm taking Dallas plus the 10.5. Okay, now let's do Miami, New England.
There it is. I am going to do it here.
New England plus the 7.5.
I'm taking New England plus 7.5.
Mm-hmm. This is actually one that I didn't really think about all that much.
Which is wild to think about.
I didn't think that there was – it's just too many points.
It is too many
I don't feel like the Miami Dolphins should be a 7.5-point favorite over many people or many teams. And you consider what's happening right now with New England. They're on the upswing, I feel like. That locker room feels like they're on a path here. Drake's showing you stuff.
There is a fear, and this is you meet any wise old bettor, they will tell you this. 7.5 is a really dirty number when you're laying it with a team that doesn't want to win. New England does not want to win this game. Everybody in that building's safe. All we're trying to do is just show growth and lose games. It does worry me that the late cover could come with Miami. So I did think about this a lot. I just don't – I like that New England defense in terms of how they deal with Miami. And I don't think the Miami offense is good at this point. You're going to try to run. You haven't been overly successful doing that. And then that gets into this pass-happy thing, and Tua Tagovailoa throwing at Christian Gonzalez just has bad news bears written all over it to me.
Over under 46.5. I'm on the under.
Everybody is? I'm going to take the over.
All right. Jeremy's on the over. I'm on the under. We're both on New England, right?
Yes.
Plus the 7.5 against the Miami Dolphins. You're in the Sportsocracy. It is a Football Friday on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Snow showers tapering off, but still in through some of the higher elevations. We may have some additional accumulations with winter weather advisories continuing. Elsewhere, sunshine, a few clouds, and 43 with a gusty breeze this afternoon. Tonight, staying cloudy, breezy, 35. Saturday, sunshine, near 50 with a gusty northwest wind. Sunday, sunshine, milder, up close to 65. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Marion Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Marion Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram wants to thank you for your loyalty and for choosing to buy locally. Your support helps them thrive, give back to the community, and keep their staff employed during hard times. Marion Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram looks forward to seeing you at 44 Worley Road.
When you're ready to go back in the day,
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind.
check out the all-new Throwbacks 101.1.
This is how we do it. Allow me to introduce myself.
Asheville's classic hip-hop and R&B. Come on.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Well, I'm a orthopedic surgeon, board certified.
Meet Dr. John Herzog, who's certainly done his share of knee and hip replacements. But these days, he's encouraging his patients to look at regenerative medicine options, now available at QC Kinetics.
I'm kind of the anti-surgeon right now, and a lot of my buddies, if they hear me talking, they're going to give me a call.
Dr. Herzog says advances in regenerative medicine can give your achy joints lasting relief, using highly concentrated healing agents from your own body to repair and restore damaged tissue.
We take the fluid out of you, we concentrate it, and put it in an area area where they couldn't normally get to and facilitate healing.
Are you suffering from constant pain due to arthritis or injury? Maybe it's time to look at alternatives to drugs and surgery at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in these exciting treatments.
What could be more natural than using your own body to heal yourself?
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks community heroes, like Eric, who hosted the football team to support their neighbors and begin the cleanup efforts, like Jeff and Chris, who led a fleet of Ford commercial vehicles throughout the night, delivering supplies with emergency services to all corners of the county and first responders. Nominate your community hero at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Weird news out of, whoa, my goodness. I had not looked at the city name on this before. Thamesmead, I'm going to say is the name of it. It sounds like a UK city. Over in Thamesmead.
That's certainly not in Alabama. So.
Member of the public walking down Sewell Road on Wednesday afternoon, just a short walk away from the Juvenile Detention Center, when a grisly discovery was made. So the person walking by the detention center found a severed arm and a severed leg just hanging out in the bushes next to the old JC. My big question is how does this happen? Where did these come from? Were these just strewn about from the side of the road, or was there some sort of a nefarious crime scene that took place right on the doorstep of the jail? You could see the front door of the jail from the scene of where these body parts were found. As someone who used to live next to a prison, I, as a member of the community, need...
Did you live next door to a prison?
When I lived in Memphis.
Oh, my God. You lived next to the prison in Memphis?
I did. I lived 2 blocks down from the federal prison in Memphis, Tennessee.
Was Jack Kevorkian's schedule upset?
I'm a cheatman.
Did you just want to die?
I'm a cheatman. And that was affordable rents in that area.
Memphis was the first place I've ever been to that I learned the beauty that is the prison wallet, which is where I kept all of my belongings,
nice,
including the clothes I was wearing.
It wasn't that bad.
Oh, Memphis is top 5 scary cities I've ever been in.
It was not great. It's a fun city. You just didn't want to be out,
We'll go the exact opposite side. I don't even know where this place is, but I'm going to say it's probably not a very dangerous place. Montrose, Colorado. I do enjoy the fact that body cam footage becomes public record, and so people can get a hold of it, and you can see some of the tomfoolery that happens for police officers. In the parking lot of a, swear to God, I'm not making this up, Humdinger's convenience store, that's what it's called, they're at the Humdingers, has a drive-thru. The Montrose Police Department, was serving a warrant for felony motor vehicle theft. Spotted a car, went, that's the one, pulled it over in the drive-thru. They're partially obstructing the drive-thru, which is important in just a moment. I watched this whole video. I don't know that I've ever laughed this much in a traffic stop. So they searched the car. I have one huge question. I'm just curious to see if your brain goes the same place I did.
Okay.
They search the car. They get to the trunk.
Yep.
They go into the trunk.
Yep.
And they find a toy
Oh.
that didn't come from a McDonald's.
Okay.
It is of the adult phallus variety.
Might have got it at a drive-thru.
For sure. Might have gotten it at the Humdingers.
Could have got it free with a meal.
For sure. Could be a Humdinger special. The 4 police officers in this, they start throwing it at each other, which, don't do that. Don't ever do that.
Well, like playing hot potato with it?
Kind of.
Like daring each other?
We used to do that at the post office. Grab something out of the old parcel thing, and you're like, I believe I know what that is.
Touch it.
They're throwing it around. As I said, they were partially blocking the drive-thru.
Yeah.
They're in marked police cars with the blue lights running. At one point, they turn because there's a horn honking behind them. There is a car with its window down that is screaming obscenities at the police officers, including using the phrase, "Get out of the way, you Richard heads." Do you know what that leads to?
Arrested.
Nope, he did not get arrested, but he did get a citation and a $120 fine for
public profanity.
There it is.
Yeah. It's always the public profanity that'll get you.
You didn't ask the question that I asked. So they found old Bilbo Baggins in the back of this car. Did it belong to the person they stole the car from, or did it belong to the people that had stolen the car?
Whichever way's more fun for you.
It's wrecking my brain. It is wrecking my brain.
Why would one steal a car and then store yours back there?
That's what I asked.
Right.
I don't feel like that's how that went.
It had to already be there.
You're on a third-hand Baggins.
Yeah.
No. We do not play hot potato with that. That is how you get skin rashes.
Or so we hear.
Yeah,
I think Dr. Fauci taught us that.
Yeah, that's how I learned that.
You just blame it on him.
Doctors have that oath where they're not allowed to tell things, right?
Sure.
Yeah. You know, and I know that you know. But you can't say nothing.
Yikes. Week 12. Let it go.
I really want to find the Humdingers. Is that like Buc-ee's?
Yeah, but the bathrooms are trash.
Well, there were 4 holes in the wall that see right through there.
I also hear they also sell beaver nuggets. So there you go. 1 o'clock slate in week 12 of the NFL. We have just one more game that we have not picked already. It's the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. This is a 3.5-point game at Soldier Field. Is this being played in a snowstorm?
No. I don't think so. It's cold.
Yeah, we know it'll be cold. It's cold everywhere right now. Why is this only 3.5 points? Minnesota's a 3.5-point favorite, and I feel like this number should be more. Is there any sign, or do you take a sign that the Chicago offense is getting better from last week? I mean, I guess it did technically get better. They did score 19 points last week, and that was the most that they had scored in the 3 weeks combined leading up to that. I don't see it. This is Minnesota to me.
I heard all your points. They were fantastic, which is why I'm going Chicago plus the 3.5. This, to me, was actually one of the easier games of the week.
Okay.
Sam Darnold outside in the cold. Yeah, I'll pass. Against a good defense. Yeah, I'm good. I'm not saying Minnesota loses this game, but I'm catching a full field goal plus the hook with Chicago. Yeah, I'm fine.
So you don't think Minnesota will be able to score?
It's not that I don't think they'll be able to score. I don't necessarily think this is going to be – I mean, I'm all over the under.
Okay.
To me, this game has 16-13 written all over it. I'm not as put off by this as you are.
Okay. Maybe
Vegas is higher on Minnesota than I am. They're lower on Chicago than I am. That tends to translate to lines like this where I go, you got this wrong. And I think I know what happened because I'm looking at the betting trajectory. This line moved, let's see, I guess that'd be Tuesday. And the hook came in. I think they got copious amounts of Minnesota love at 3, and they were trying to level that out because I think this is a 3-point game.
Okay. So the safe play here for you is Chicago plus the 3.5. And under the 39.
That's the biggest thing you should take away from this. Under! We're not getting 40 here.
All right, 4 o'clock slate starts off with the 4:05 game. Denver Broncos, Las Vegas Raiders. That's a 6-point lean for the Denver Broncos. And I'll happily back them.
I'm taking Denver, but it is not as happily as what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like a trap.
Trap game for Denver or a Vegas trap for bettors?
This feels like a Vegas trap because basically everything. Vegas has been terrible against the spread. The Broncos have been great against the spread.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of looking at this going, you're going to have to get pressure consistently if you're Denver. If you tell me how many pressures they got on the Raiders this week, I'll probably tell you who covers this and the score. I think it's about the only thing that matters. The Raiders are so one-dimensional, though, that it's just hard for me to believe that they're going to be able to put up a lot of points.
I'm not sure that this is a team that can score.
I do like Brock Bowers a lot.
Yeah,
this week.
I keep forgetting about Brock. I keep
How
thinking,
do you forget about your
this
doppelganger?
team, because this team is so damn irrelevant. That's how I keep forgetting, because I keep going, there's nothing on that team that is redeeming. Oh, wait. I forgot.
One of the best tight ends in the league.
They went and got the next tight end god.
He's very good.
Yeah, he is good.
He's very good. And, look, I don't think it's a blowout game. They're not going to do to the Raiders what they did to the Falcons, but I do think Denver will cover.
Mm-hmm. All right, Denver minus the 6, the over-under, 41. I'll go under the 41.
I will go under.
What?
Sorry. Chris Womack just sent me a message about gas station names. The one that you told the story about that now has to change its name.
Oh, the Come and Go?
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he stayed at one of those that was next to a strip club.
That,
boys and girls, is marketing 101. I can't say it, but I could say it if I don't say it.
Know your audience.
Which is what I live by. I didn't say it. I just said it, and you inferred that I said it.
Mm-hmm. And then we all just knew. 425. Couple of good games in the 425, I think. They'll be close. They'll be competitive. San Francisco 49ers.
You use the word good way too liberally.
Okay. San Francisco, Green Bay. You don't
think that's
that...
a good game?
Yeah. That'll be a good, contested, last shot game.
Pick it.
I'm going Niners plus the 3.5.
No! This was supposed to be a spot for me to get a game. I'm going Niners too.
I don't trust Green Bay.
There was a huge betting anomaly in this. I'll be honest with you, I was completely prepared to take Green Bay. There is a huge betting anomaly, one of the bigger ones I've seen all year, that happened on 2 days ago, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened. I don't have good intel on that yet. All of the sharp money just poured onto San Francisco. If you have listened to this show for any period of time, you know smart money comes in on Sunday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
They do not bet in the middle of the week. For some reason, a slew of money came in right in the middle of the week. That either tells me Brock Purdy's going to play because he is questionable.
Mm-hmm. I don't feel like there's any chance he doesn't play.
I do feel like there's a chance he doesn't play, and that was said specifically yesterday. But that wasn't addressed. So I don't think it's that. I think Vegas probably feels the same way you do. Brock Purdy's going to play. We're good with that.
Yep.
Something else happened. I don't know what it is, And it was enough for me to go, yep, I've seen that graph before, and it tends to lead to the thing I didn't suspect was going to happen happening. 49ers.
Well, did anybody lean on the fact that the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love, namely, cannot be trusted in big games? And the 49ers have all of the pressure on them. At 5-5, you've got all the pressure on you. You want to turn a season? You go into Green Bay, you punch them in the mouth. In Lambeau. That's what San Francisco does. And I think they'll get it done here.
I just don't think Green Bay's as good as we thought they were. They're very talented.
Mm-hmm.
But Jordan Love finds a way to make that untimely mistake. Give me San Francisco.
Yep. San Francisco plus the 3.5 and the over-under on that game, 46.5. I'll go over.
I'll go under. It's going to be real cold.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. We got bangers coming up next.
We got one more 4 o'clock game. We got time.
Okay, 4:25, Arizona Cardinals, Seattle Seahawks.
Do you have a real lean here?
Arizona Cardinals.
As do I. Cardinals coming off a bye.
Mm-hmm.
Vegas likes Seattle, which is shocking to me.
Well, they're going to Seattle. Playing in Seattle matters.
Not really.
With the crowd, I think
really.
it matters.
Not really.
Really? No advantage.
I mean, everybody has an advantage at home. It's not. That's the third time you've mentioned Seattle in 2 days being this great home field advantage. It's not. Look at the last 5 years. That does not bear out. That math don't math. It did it one time. It doesn't anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's just apathy. I'm not really sure what it is. That stadium is acoustically a headache. It is not the advantage you make it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
I like Arizona. If they weren't coming off the bye, I would be more open. Seattle's been horrifically bad at covering spreads. And I'm not going to lie. I'm looking at where Vegas has them in the power rankings. They still have Arizona at 17, which feels grossly low to me.
Mm-hmm. Over the 47.5?
Yes.
Yes. I think this is your game. This is your honey hole game.
I have a couple of pieces for this for DraftKings.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. We got bangers coming up next. Picks of the weekend with Flostradamus.
These times of massive inflation have people just like you strapped.
As far as my debt, I was drowning in debt. My balances were never going down. I was making payments every month. It was just draining every resource I had.
The Debt Management Group can help. In the first free call, they will explain all the relief programs you may qualify for to get you out of debt fast.
They saved me thousands of dollars, especially in interest. I would have never paid off this debt without their help.
I felt like it was a burden lifted off my shoulders. It felt amazing, and I felt like I could actually see a future for me and my kids.
The sooner you call, the faster you can get the relief you deserve. It's free information on all the debt relief programs you qualify for, plus guaranteed confidentiality. Call 800-933-3470. That's 800-933-3470. Call now to find out about the best debt forgiveness, consolidation, modification, and settlement programs available. 800-933-3470. That's 800-933-3470.
Insurance sold by Smart Money Insurance Services Incorporated. Underwritten by various insurers. Coverage, exclusions, and limitations may apply.
Did you know the price of a funeral can be $8,000 or more? Don't leave your loved ones with your debts. Download the Smart Money app right now and get up to $25,000 in final expense coverage starting at less than $1 a day. There's no medical exam, and you can be approved even if you have pre-existing health conditions. Download the Smart Money app and get up to $25,000 in coverage for your funeral and other final expenses. Go to the App Store and download the Smart Money app and get instant coverage. Download the Smart Money app now.
Using a Clorox disinfecting wipe on your coffee table this cold and flu season feels like... It feels like being bold enough to laugh your weird laugh in front of everyone.
That was a good one.
With Clorox, clean feels confident. Clean feels good. Use as directed on hard, non-porous surfaces.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
This is where it starts, where your story begins. This is the trail you blaze yourself. And step by step, you get stronger, faster, better. This is where it starts. How will you finish? Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
Coffee closes on. Get them the money.
Then when you get the money, you get the power.
That watch costs more than your car.
Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
I loved Wisconsin to cover last week. I was right. They kept right up with Oregon. This week, they're on the road. Only a 1.5-point dog. That's too many points. I still believe in Nebraska. This is like my Sasquatch. I'm dying on this shield. I will believe in Nebraska until they 100% prove that I shouldn't be, and I continue it here. Give me Nebraska minus the 1.5. That's not what you're here for.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
Not just a dog, but a road dog. The fighting former Mike Houston's. They fired him. That made me real sad. And then they got good, which I don't in any way understand. 3-point dog at North Texas. North Texas leading the country in passing efficiency. Have one of the best young quarterbacks in the country. The problem is they can't do anything else. And I think East Carolina is going to score a lot of points. Give me East Carolina plus the 3. Western Kentucky is a 1.5-point dog at Liberty. I have officially quit Liberty. They are the drug that I am going to stop mainlining because they are burning me. They're 2-7 against the spread. They lose outright. Give me the Hilltoppers. My heart is in the right place here, I swear. Florida State, team I've loved for many, many moons. They are a 33.5-point favorite at home. Now, I don't believe much in Charleston Southern, but you can tell me that they are a 33.5-point favorite against the GDS department of Asheville, North Carolina, and I don't think they can score 34 points. They had scored 20 points all year. Give me Charleston Southern plus the 33.5. And finally, Army's a 14.5-point dog at Notre Dame in Yankee Stadium. I want to say Army's going to win this game, and I want them to so bad. I can't go that far, but I will go this far. Give me Army plus the 14.5. I wish they were wearing the cool uniforms that they're wearing in the Army-Navy game. But you beat those lame gold helmets that Notre Dame wears.
So they're playing in Yankee Stadium.
They're playing in Yankee Stadium. Taking Army plus 14.5.
Nice. All right. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Don't forget, you can take all of your wagers over to our good partners at DraftKings, DraftKings.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Snow showers tapering off, but still in through some of the higher elevations. We may have some additional accumulations with winter weather advisories continuing. Elsewhere, sunshine, a few clouds, and 43 with a gusty breeze this afternoon. Tonight, staying cloudy, breezy, 35. Saturday, sunshine, near 50 with a gusty northwest wind. Sunday, sunshine, milder, up close to 65. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. It's Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Get matched with your perfect bed and save up to $700 on a wide selection of quality mattresses. Plus, score a free adjustable base with a qualifying purchase. See store for details.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking, the list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
Live from the Ingalls Studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dogs eat! Let them on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God, the Jets killed him.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. We're heard everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app. You can also take us with you everywhere by watching us on YouTube on your smart device. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, join us in the chat. This is
Football Friday.
And it is time on the Football Friday when we talk about where would we go if we were going anywhere this weekend.
I don't go anywhere. It's cold.
It is cold. It's just bone-chillingly cold.
That's not bone-chillingly cold.
It is. It's gross. I don't like it. It's like the real first cold snap, true cold snap that we got down below freezing. The snow came in, gave us a nice little dusting in the early morning hours. And then right around, 8:30? It started spitting the snow like crazy around here, going, oh, yep, winter showing her face a little early.
Snow is a lot like owning a boat. It sounds good until you do it. And then this is terrible. I wish it would sink.
I just didn't want to do that.
Yeah, I hate snow.
So
I hate it.
Anyhow,
I loathe it.
Cook you up some chili. Stay home this weekend. Enjoy the football that you can enjoy. Daily Draft, where are you going to go? Brought to you by Dale's Pale Ale. With the #1 selection, is it my go or your go?
Go ahead.
All right, I'm taking the #1 game of the weekend. It is Ohio State and Indiana. Of course, the layup game. Indiana with a chance to prove the doubters wrong. We're 10-0. Yep. And so far, you've taken care of every step of this thing. 2 weeks ago, Michigan, we talked about it. That was a step forward. You're better than that team, but that's getting over they can't beat the big ones kind of guy. Now you get the actual big one. And can you dispatch of them? Ryan Day versus Kurt Cignetti. It's going to be a barn burner. I have a feeling.
This decides who plays Oregon in the Big Ten title game.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't see any way Michigan's beating Ohio State. You just have no offense.
Right.
So if you're Indiana and you want to be looked at as an actual power, this is the game.
Yep.
Now, what was this game again?
What do you mean?
Who are the two teams playing in it?
Indiana and Ohio State.
I forgot to do that the first time. I believe this game will be everything it's billed to be. I do not believe that much in Ohio State. They have not impressed me in the least. I am impressed by Indiana. Now, the question is, am I impressed by Indiana because I thought so little of them coming in? And am I so down on Ohio State because I thought so much of them coming in? That's all going to bear itself out.
I would say
one way or the other.
I would say both things are true for everybody right now.
Well,
Ohio State
and
was,
I get that.
Ohio State was expected to be the most talented team you've ever seen. 87 NFL draft picks on this team, and they are just going to steamroll everybody. And they haven't done that not once throughout the season. Indiana, I don't know that anybody really thought Indiana was going to be anything. That's a nice little Big Ten program who just picked up a coach who can step his way to a big program next. That's how I always saw it.
I didn't because he's 63 years old. I look at this as a really good coach that finally gets his bite at the apple. I thought he would be fine at Indiana. I just thought it'd take some time.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't, because he brought all of James Madison with him. He basically gutted the program and brought them all with him.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, if you ever want to know just how close some of these teams are, look how much better Indiana is with all these JMU transfers. That should tell you something. I am very intrigued to see how this goes. Big question is, do these guys know how to win in a situation like this? Because you're going to be on the road. You're going to have everybody with their eyes on this game. And this is the game. You tell your spouse, we do whatever you want all weekend long, starting at 5:01 tonight, run until we go to work on Monday. The only 3.5 hours I asked for is Indiana, Ohio State. That was no doubt the number one pick. Now, I get 2 NFL games because there's not a college game that I'm taking
this high. Okay.
I feel like this is a no-doubter, the 2 games I have to pick. It's 49ers-Packers.
Mm-hmm.
This is a replay of an NFC playoff game last year. It's in Lambeau, and I feel like this game tells us a lot. San Francisco loses this game, you're irrelevant.
Agreed.
I can wipe you off the face of the planet because you really just don't matter.
Yep.
You might make the playoffs, but if you can't step up in a game like this, none of the rest of it really matters. You're going to be the little engine that could for the rest of the year. Conversely, I look at Green Bay. You're the team that's up. You have talent across the board. You should be able to move the ball on them. You're missing Josh Jacobs. But even with that, I'm not overly afraid of what San Francisco can do. You should be able to take the step ahead of San Francisco. The question is, do you? I do not agree with you on the other 2 NFL games.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, it's the Har Bowl on Monday Night Football.
Agreed.
Oh, really? I would have thought you were super in on Arizona-Seattle. So.
Well, I mean, to me, that is going to be a good game, a competitive game. I know you don't like my term of the use, good, sometimes.
Yes, because you confuse good and competitive.
Well, I think
just because the game's close did not mean it was good.
I believe that all football games that are contested are good in their own rights. I know you do not.
Harvard and Yale play contested games all the time. I would literally rather watch somebody set my car on fire.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like the Army-Navy game.
Army-Navy is much bigger.
Just checking. Baltimore coming off of a loss, going up against a Chargers team trying to make a statement. Of course, you have the brother connection. That was the right call. And if I were doing it, I probably would have taken that one first over San Francisco and Green Bay.
I probably should have.
We're splitting hairs. It's splitting hairs.
I took them in chronological order, not necessarily the order that I would have.
Okay. All right.
Your turn.
Yeah, my turn. It's my turn. I'm going back to the college ranks.
This should be good.
Why? You don't like any other college games this week?
Not here.
The first one is BYU Arizona State.
That is a solid pick by you. I didn't think you would do that.
That game with Big 12 positioning on the line. BYU wins this game they're into the championship. They lose this game, they need help to get into the Big 12 championship.
They need help that's not coming.
No, because there's not a game left on the schedule, I don't think, for Arizona. Well, I mean, Arizona State plays Arizona next week, but
Arizona State will kill Arizona.
That's kind of how I feel. Like you're not.
This is a play-in game.
Yeah, you're not
That's
losing.
what you're getting here. This is the Big Ten semifinal play-in game for the chance to play Colorado.
Mm-hmm. The answer to me, or the big question to me is, can you rally? Right? BYU had the letdown last week at home, and now you got to go on the road to a team that was not expected to be this good. Is this good? Is probably one of the. They're definitely one of the hottest teams in college football and probably the most underrated in college football.
Well, nobody talks about them because you just assume Arizona State's terrible.
Sure. But they're 8-2 on the year. And they've got some really good players on that team. Kenny Dillingham leading the way for the Sun Devils. And is Kalani Sitake going to have his guys ready to bounce back from last week's letdown, or will the emotion for Arizona State take over here? We've got a shot to be in the playoff when we weren't expected to do anything. Which narrative comes crashing down?
I mean, to me, BYU was never all that good. I know there's been a lot of gnashing of teeth about the way these teams were ranked and who's better, and to me, you're looking at it wrong. Sam Leavitt is a really good quarterback at Arizona State. I think to a level that BYU really hasn't seen. They're also getting healthy running the ball because they hadn't been all year, and that's one of the things that's changed. I like Arizona State in this game a lot, but I also like it to be competitive.
Mm-hmm. All right.
No, I mean, if it was at BYU, you could have come home with a new harem. But instead, you have to go to Arizona State, where you come home with a thing that requires an antibiotic.
Indeed.
Been to Arizona State. That's not an opinion. That's a dadgum fact.
Let's see. Tough call on my next selection here, but I am going back to the NFL, and I'll take the Eagles and the Rams. Not solely because I believe there can be fireworks in this game with a lot of points scored, but it's also at SoFi Stadium. That's still one of those bucket list things.
Whew, that's a tough sell for me.
Really?
That is a tough sell for me. I just don't buy the Rams. Your defense is not good. You've been talking that game up all week. I'm shocked that's the one you took. Probably going to regret it because I'm 100%
you're taking Seahawks.
I'm taking Rams Seahawks.
Yeah.
I mean, there comes a time where you've let it go for too long.
Seahawks and the Cardinals, yeah.
Or, yeah, I think I said Rams Seahawks.
You did.
Seahawks and the Cardinals. You've let it go too long, and to me, that's the better game because those two are at least close. Those two are competitive for the playoffs. I don't think the Rams are.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams, to me, are a double wide with a Maserati sitting out in front of it. Because you have all these weapons, but you don't do any of the finer things of football well. So now I look at you're coming up against a much more talented defense. How are you going to keep these guys off Matthew Stafford? Well, the answer is you're not. So he's going to be running around all night long trying to get the ball to Cooper Kupp, to Puka Nacua.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
You think it's a smash spot for the Eagles?
I kind of do, yeah.
Okay. All right.
I kind of do.
I think it's going to be more of the score fest. I'm expecting a game that's going to be in the mid-20s for both.
Mid-20s is not a score fest.
Well, I mean, it's going to feel like it.
Mid-20s barely covers a number the vast majority of the time.
It's going to feel like it when you get down to the end. Arizona Cardinals and the Seahawks, I don't think the Rams and the Seahawks are that much different.
That's the point.
And the Eagles are better than the Cardinals.
Fractionally, yes, but the Seahawks and Cardinals are both better than the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
I get a more competitive game that's could potentially determine a playoff spot. The Seahawks lose here, you're carrying 2 losses to the Cardinals.
Sure.
You have now lost, and you're 2 games behind them. So basically, you're 3 games behind them. I don't love the chances of the NFC West getting a wild card team, because I'm looking at Philadelphia, Minnesota, and Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like your 3 wild card teams, and I don't think there's much you can do to stop that. The Cardinals take a 3-game lead on the Seahawks, and especially if the 49ers lose to the Packers, it could be turn out the lights, party's over.
Yeah.
We could be talking about the Cardinals have this division locked up with 2 weeks to go. And look at the schedule. There are winnable games there.
All right, let's go to your 4th selection.
Well, we're up against a break. I don't have to think about it because you should never have left this to me. And frankly, I may do what you did yesterday and just take the old Tim Tebow, because I don't need to pick 2 more games. I didn't get 1, but I got 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that feels pretty good.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, the Daily Draft, sponsored by Dale's Pale Ale. Returns after this.
It's the 24th annual Asheville Turkey Trot 5K and Gobble Wobble. Thanksgiving morning, November 28th in downtown Asheville. The Turkey Trot starts at 9:15. The Gobble Wobble 1-mile fun run starts at 8:30. What a great way to kick off your holiday. Get out and move before you hit the buffet. Proceeds from this year's race benefit the Manna Food Bank once again. Help give back to the community and register today. Just log on to AshevilleTurkeyTrot.com. AshevilleTurkeyTrot.com. Proudly sponsored by iHeartMedia, Asheville.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Haywood Community College offers over 30 programs of study to obtain your associate's degree or specialized certification. We can help you find the perfect program to pursue your educational journey while staying local, offering small class sizes with flexible classroom delivery options and transferable degrees and credits to numerous North Carolina universities. There's no telling where HCC could lead you. Save time and money by staying local. Visit haywood.edu for more information and to begin the registration process. And go Mounties!
Snakes, zombies, public speaking, the list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
It's time to kick off the perfect tailgate and take your team to Ingles. Chips and guac made fresh in store every day. The best meat in town packaged fresh every day. And smiling faces giving you their best every day. Let's be real. In the South, football season is our favorite season of the year. There's a lot to smile about, especially with deals like these. Ingles. Low prices, love the savings.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
The Sportsocracy.
You two are just dumber than a bag of hammers.
We are back at the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
You know, Tank, if you ever really wanted to get back at me for the one job thing, all you'd have to do is open my mic about 10 seconds too early. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm sitting here going, open the door. And I swear that's the 5th time I've done that this week.
Yes, it is. Welcome back into the Sportsocracy on a
Football Friday.
And this is... You scream the Daily Draft next.
You don't tell me what to scream there, Puddin'.
This is the Daily Draft.
I will scream what I want to scream when I want to.
Can't make me.
And I'm not going to lie. I had no clue what you were looking for, and you almost got something way different. I almost just looked into the camera and went, Humdingers!
This is the Daily Draft,
That
brought to you
place
by...
has gotten a lot of free promotion for a lot of people that cannot access them.
Brought to you by Dale's Pale Ale. It's where are you going to go this weekend if you could go anywhere. I had the number 1 pick in the draft. Of course, Indiana, Ohio State was the pick there. Jeremy goes San Francisco, Green Bay, Baltimore, and the Los Angeles Chargers on Monday Night Football. So took the 2 best NFL games of the week. I got BYU and ASU. And Philadelphia and the Rams. And then, Jeremy, you followed that up with Arizona and Seattle.
And now I did have to think about this because I don't think you would take this because you're so dismissive of it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to take the risk.
Yeah.
So I'm going Army Notre Dame.
Of course you are. Army Notre Dame. And
would you have taken that?
Yes, that was not coming back to you. If you left Army Notre Dame for me, it was not coming back to you.
I took the other NFL game because, well, I knew that wasn't coming back. Army Notre Dame. I was not sure you would take it. You're so dismissive of Army, especially after Navy got shellacked by Notre Dame.
Yeah, well, there is at one point where, as you said, you've left it laying here too long, and you left it laying just the perfect amount.
Well, I knew I didn't take it in the first.
You definitely didn't have to do that.
I can do math. I mean, not real good, and I might need my fingers, but I can do it.
It most definitely was not coming back to you. So
I think that's going to be that will be a fun way to end a pretty mediocre football night.
Mm-hmm.
There's just not much there.
It could be, but I also feel like that's a 2-score game at minimum. Just me. What?
I was trying to hit it lightly because I've already picked it, so it's not.
It's like how dainty
upcoming.
Is that? How dainty was that little bell ring there?
See, I'm real excited about games I hadn't picked, so I hit the bell hard. Mm-hmm. If I've already picked it, it's just a...
Gotcha. Okay, so you have left me nothing to choose from.
Yeah, you got a UFC fight to pull out here?
I don't.
They're Puddin'?
I don't. There's
not. You go hang out with John Jones? Is he just...
doing his little dance? I mean, I don't really want to go anywhere else than the 4 games or the 3 games that I've already taken and the 4 games that you've already taken. But I guess
Thanks,
if
next
I
pick.
gotta
Montrose,
do one,
Colorado.
No, I'm not doing that. I mean, I'll go with the off chance that something stunning can happen. I will go with the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears.
Ooh. In Chicago, eh?
I mean, that's about how bleak we're getting here, in my eyes, anyway.
See, that one wasn't on the board. I just bought a new wallet, and it's a little bit more sizable. I can't go to Chicago anymore. Doesn't fit in the prison wallet anymore. Especially not with my car keys and my passport.
We should have known that was coming.
It's a beautiful city. It's just...
You know how much I love to freeze my keister off and enjoy some Big Ten football.
Oh, good Lord.
We're going to Rutgers in Illinois.
If we had done a marathon draft for the rest of the weekend, I don't think I would have ever gotten to Piscataway, New Jersey. God, you talk about getting beat twice.
Oh, yeah.
I beat you so badly in this yesterday that I think you just took another knee. Please, God, explain to me the allure of that.
There ain't one. That's kind of the point. There's not another game. What else do I got?
Ole Miss,
Tennessee
Florida.
and UTEP.
Ole Miss, Florida.
Ugh. No, thank you.
It's at least
Ole Miss will be the
above
snot out of them.
I agree with you, but I'm at least in 60-degree weather. And you make fun of the Gator fans as they watch their bowl hopes wither.
Maybe so.
I actually think there is a possibility that Florida keeps that game close for a while. Look, with DJ Lagway, they're different because that's a real-life quarterback as opposed to that walk-on that looks like, I don't know, you let Forrest Gump throw it. He is terrible. DJ Lagway's not.
Mm-hmm.
It should tell you something that's only 12 and a half. That Florida team's been awful at times.
Mm-hmm.
They did also just put their foot on LSU's forehead and kick him into that 300 pit.
They did, but is that impressive? I mean, I guess it is from the Florida team that you saw early in the season and you went, I don't know if they're any good or not. Maybe that's something to hang your hat on, but I don't know. I have my doubts. I have my doubts about that being a competitive game.
You have taken every NFL game that I could possibly select without literally having blood come out of my ears.
Right.
So I'm going to take, we'll say it's a little bit of a punt, but I'm very confused as to why this line is as narrow as it is. I'm going to take Colorado, Kansas.
Okay.
Vegas thinks this game will be very, very close. I get Jalen Daniels and Shadur Sanders, and I get it with my 6th pick. I could do worse. I mean, for God's sake, you just took Rutgers. I will give you $1 US to name a player on the roster of Rutgers.
I can't, because the only recognizable players they have, I don't think I can pronounce their last names. They've got a quarterback that it's not quite Iamaliava, but Kukula Makanis or whatever his name is, I can't.
Somebody clip that, please. Somebody please clip that. I wait with bated breath to see what your 6th selection is.
Well, you were watching the hype video for it earlier today, and I can't get away from it. So
this is the right call, by the way.
I'm going, let's pull for the undefeated season for the Montana State Grizzlies.
The fighting Troy Anderson.
The Montana's State.
the Grizzlies.
Yeah, Montana State Bears?
Yes.
No. What are
Cats.
they? The Cats against Montana. It's the rivalry to end all rivalries.
Do yourself a favor. Go watch the hype video that Montana State put out. That made me want to put on a helmet and go knock somebody's brains out.
Got the undefeated FCS season on the line against their most hated rivals. I did love the quote from that was, Montana State fans love their team.
Bobcats.
The Bobcats. They love the Bobcats as much as they hate the Grizzlies. So, I mean, at least it's a storyline game. Other than that, you're choosing from a lot of USC and UCLA and Duke and Virginia Tech and Georgia and UMass. Throw a bone at UMass plus 42 on this one.
That's going to be a no from me, Bob.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Playing quarterback, so yeah. Oh, and by the way, they fired their coach this week. That has a whole lot to zero written all over it.
God, we missed one. How did we miss Wisconsin, Nebraska? That should have been on the list somewhere.
I wouldn't have taken it over any of my 6.
Really?
I would have taken it over 5 of your 6, but
stop.
Your best pick was your 6th pick. Outside of the one that we just walked you into of, hey, there's one great game. You want it? You just take it. The other 4 are ridiculous. Varying levels of crap. Well, BYU, Arizona State's not bad. Whew, that's 2 daily drafts in a row. Just foghorn, leghorn with the paddle.
Yeah. What's your record, like 800-2 now?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Something like that.
You think, you know what? I say this to you in fantasy football all the time. You should draft better. That's bad.
Where would you go this weekend if you had the choice? Would you be interested in making it over to Appalachian State for James Madison? No.
Don't let Tank be your travel planner, because his second best selection, your seat partner, the guy you're probably sharing a seat back with, is a caribou. you got a moose sitting beside you.
Yep.
And I agreed with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Keep looking at Illinois Rutgers going, I feel like that should be a punishment for crime. Like, you should get sentenced to you stole a car. Illinois Rutgers.
Oh, stop it.
You must go to that game every year and sit in the freezing cold in Piscataway, New Jersey. And don't make eye contact with Tommy DeVito's relatives that are sitting there looking at you like this.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Snow showers tapering off, but still in through some of the higher elevations. We may have some additional accumulations with winter weather advisories continuing. Elsewhere, sunshine, a few clouds, and 43 with a gusty breeze this afternoon. Tonight, staying cloudy, breezy, 35. Saturday, sunshine, near 50 with a gusty northwest wind. Sunday, sunshine, milder, up close to 65. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Storm Pro Solution.
Storm Pro Solution is here to help you during your recovery, serving Western North Carolina, Tennessee, and South Carolina. Storm Pro specializes in tree removal, roof replacement, water restoration, and storm damage. Call 828-318-7096 for your storm damage assessment.
Did you wake up with joint pain? Does it hurt when you do even the most routine physical activity? Have they told you it's time for knee or hip replacement surgery? Stop what you're doing and listen. You deserve a life of comfort and ease with no surgery and no meds. And QC Kinetics can get you there. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative cellular treatments for joint pain. This is an all-natural approach that harnesses your body's own healing properties to treat the root cause of your arthritic pain. Everybody's talking about this now. It's so cutting edge. The protocols developed by QC Kinetics are life-changing for so many people. Tens of thousands of satisfied patients with more every day. Yes, you can have real lasting relief from chronic joint pain without drugs, without surgery, without downtime. Discover your options with advanced regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics. The consultation is absolutely free. Phone 828-333-9517. Phone 828-333-9517. QC Kinetics in Asheville and Greenville.
This week in the Buncombe County Game of the Week, it's week 2 of the high school football playoffs, and we've got a good one for you. Top-seeded Irwin will host Smoky Mountain. The Mustangs had a big win against Pisgah last week, and Irwin cruised against Parkwood. Sean Crow, the coach Danny Wilkins, and myself, Brian Hall, will bring you all the action. Plus, Tank Spencer will keep you updated throughout the night on all the playoff scores. The Bojangles Countdown Kickoff Show starts at 6:30 with the kick at 7. The best coverage of high school football is on News Radio 570, WWNC, and ESPN Asheville.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. Our mission, to improve lives with every interaction. This is JW, General Manager at Parks Ford Hendersonville. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com. That's parksfordhendersonville.com.
This is where it starts. Where your story begins. This is the trail you blaze yourself. And step by step, you get stronger, faster, better. This is where it starts. How will you finish? Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Back of the Sportsocracy, this is ESPN Asheville, and it's time for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes!
Well, crimes are never good.
Although my story will challenge that.
Oh, really? Okay. Some karma involved in yours. I like
Not
it.
yet, but, well, kind of, actually.
Yeah. Okay. All right. A Wisconsin man faked his own drowning this summer so that he could escape, quote-unquote, personal situations, which basically translates to he wanted to run out on his wife and 3 kids. So faked his own death, and he booked it over to Europe. The reason this story is in the news, though, is because he has been identified safe or found safe.
And he's staying with Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi.
He may be. He may be. He's been communicating with local authorities in Wisconsin to tell them that he is safe, but that he is never coming back home. Green Lake County Sheriff Mark Podol said that he's been having conversations with the man from Eastern Europe. He's been like Skyping in, I guess, and they can't find him. They can't locate where he is, or maybe they just don't have the capability of doing that. He does like to point out, though, that Mr. Borgwart, who skipped out, does seem to be very, very happy with his decision to leave the country. So, I mean, I guess there is that. But it is quite illegal for you to fake your own death. No word on whether or not there was any insurance money that was claimed from that.
I'm going to say no if he's communicating with them.
I would say so. Best thing he could have done,
Does he
though,
make them get out a Ouija board? Like, we don't need that. We can see you. Just do it.
I mean, let's say the best thing he could have done, though, was just stay disappeared and let the wife and the kids get the insurance money.
My story comes from liberal loony land, or as we in the States call it, the unabashed
Asheville.
Sports Tank ESPN is where you can find him.
It's not a local story. I apologize.
No, it is not. We call this the unabashed hellhole known as the state of California.
Uh-huh.
It's about a man named Raul Sanchez. He is now 26 years old. He has been imprisoned at Kern Valley State Prison for 3 years. He was walking past a 7-Eleven. He had a bag, and he looked suspicious. He saw 2 officers coming out of the 7-Eleven. As soon as he saw them, what did he do? Ran. They go on the mad pursuit of the man because it's appearing that you have done something that you don't want us to see. He had robbed a house just a few blocks away and had eluded or had escaped to here. He runs away. Police chase on foot. He continues to run away. They find him dismounting a wall. He turns towards officers who have no idea what's in his little sack of goodies. And what happened? Shot 3 times in the leg. Winds up losing the leg. Where does this story go? This will tell me how well you know how stupid law can be at times.
He's suing for getting shot.
Already sued and won $5 million. Do you know why?
Why?
Because there's something I left out here. At what point did you actually see him commit a crime? You only chased him because he was running. He did commit a crime, which is inadmissible in the civil trial because the officers didn't know that at the time, which is we're running into in the state of New York right now because a crazy man was strangled on the subway after he told everybody in the building he was going to kill them, and they can't admit the fact that he's committed 42 crimes before this because nobody on the subway knew that. That's dumb. That's dumb. This is dumb. And this is why California, for me, is its own independent republic of stupidity.
You're just waiting for the big one to separate them from America.
Frankly, I'm just kind of hoping that one day a big earthquake will happen and California will just go boop, boop, boop.
Yep.
Cut itself out like your paycheck. Just, hey, you're out there now. Hey, all you that want us to escape the country, go there. You can have that. We don't need that. We're good. That is where all the Looney Tunes live. You can have it.
It's kind of like Australia, right? They used to use Australia for the penal colony.
Yeah, that's fine. You go hang out with the kangaroos. We here in normal land are going to look at that and go, that's dumb, and that shouldn't happen.
All right, let's get back into our selections for the upcoming week in the NFL. Week 12, we got the primetime games left to discuss. Sunday Night Football, Philadelphia Eagles and the Los Angeles Rams. Philadelphia Eagles, a 2.5-point favorite.
Which is insane to me.
Because you think this is a blowout.
Can the Rams stop the Eagles?
No,
is there
not
any chance that Saquon Barkley doesn't run for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game?
No, probably not.
Is there a chance Philadelphia stops the Rams?
Maybe.
I'll say yes. I'm going to make you one-dimensional because I'm going to put this all on Matthew Stafford, and then I'm going to send the hellhounds at him and chase him around for 60 minutes. This, to me, is the dumbest line I think I've seen in – I'll say this season. This is the dumbest line I've seen. I didn't think about this for a tenth of a second. I laughed and immediately went to DraftKings and wagered it.
It should be a 3-point spread at least.
It should be a 7.5-point spread at minimum.
Really?
Because what you're telling me here is Philadelphia wouldn't be getting a full touchdown in Philadelphia, and that is insane. That would be the DA in that last story I just told could tell me that, and that would even make me think he was dumber.
Mm-hmm. Nuts if it's at 5.5.
Insane.
Because that was
in Philadelphia, they would beat the Rams by 2 scores. Easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
Okay.
I don't think this game's appealing. I think we're all going to have this game turned off by the end of the third quarter. This has Sunday Night Gross Fest written all over it, and Philadelphia plays in one of these every single year.
Over under 49.
You pick that because I'm struggling.
I'm over 49.
I'm going to go over, but I don't feel good about it.
Mm-hmm. I'm also on Philadelphia minus the 2.5. I do think that this game is going to be close, but it's insane that it's less than a field goal. And I feel like this is going to be more shootouty than that.
Can you give me a defensive matchup that the Rams actually have an advantage?
Defensive matchup.
They have one pass rusher of real note.
Mm-hmm.
Eagles' line is beyond good enough to keep that off of
Jalen
Hurts.
No, I get it.
They have shown that where they really struggle is when you have multiple guys and they don't know where it's coming from. Because Jalen likes to scramble out into pressure, scramble out away from Jared Verse.
Mm-hmm.
End of message, repeat the line. Corners, are you kidding me? A.J. Brown's going to have a field day. A.J. Brown's going to look like a grown man decided to go out and play with a bunch of children.
But do you think that that the Eagles defense is going to be able to stop Stafford from scoring?
Stop him from scoring? No. Slow him down greatly? Yes. Look, we've talked about the atrophy of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
How many teams in the NFL allow yet less yards per week than the Philadelphia Eagles?
One.
There are none.
None.
You want to hear it again?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of yardage, they have the number one defense in the NFL. You got a real young team on the back half, especially with Quinyon Mitchell, who is every bit the dog I told you he was going to be.
He's been good.
And now I'm coming up against a Rams team that I know for sure is not going to be able to slow me down. You're bringing a knife to a gunfight. All I got to do is stop you a handful of times because I don't think you're going to stop me at all.
Mm-hmm.
I may stop myself, but it's not going to be you, Eagles. And I fully plan on watching no more than 25 game minutes of that game.
All right, and then Monday Night Football. Baltimore Ravens, Los Angeles Chargers. It's a 3-point spread. And I'm on Baltimore. Minus the 3, on the road, in the Har Bowl. Brother versus brother.
This one was tougher for me. If Baltimore wasn't coming off a loss, I would have easily said the Chargers here. But they are.
Mm-hmm.
Was this not the hardest game of the week for you to pick?
It's the one I've thought the most about, but I've never swayed from my side of it. Because when Baltimore lost that game to Pittsburgh last week, I went, okay, yeah, I don't like Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh to lose back-to-back games. It's hard to sell me on that.
That's what I keep coming back to.
And a Los Angeles Chargers team that, yes, they know how to win games better than they did last year or year before last under Brandon Staley. You're going to get that with the new coaching culture like you've gotten with Jim. But do I think that really when their backs are against the wall that this is going to be against a top-tier team? Are they going to be able to come up with the play to win the game at the end? I have my doubts about that. Yes, they had that same similar scenario last week against the Cincinnati Bengals, but was that a good, or 2 weeks ago? Was that the turn you were looking for? The comeback win that tells you that now they can just do it against anybody?
The 3 questions I always ask. Who has the better head coach?
I would say that's John.
I would say that's a wash.
Okay.
Who's at home?
That's the Chargers.
I would say that's a wash.
Mm-hmm.
Chargers don't show out well in their own stadium.
No.
Your best hope is that you can draw this to 50-50 because it's the Harbaugh. That only leaves one question.
Who's the better quarterback?
Baltimore Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving up field goal, which I don't love, but I'm taking Baltimore.
Yeah. Baltimore minus 2.5 it now. Apparently
2.5, I'm much happier.
Apparently it has moved. Baltimore minus the 2.5, over under 51.
I'll go over.
Yeah.
2.5, I'm much happier. Because now, by the way, Justin Tucker, just, okay, do what you always done. Stop doing. Do you know and I don't have the stat in front of me now. He was like 3 of 14 from 50-plus in the last 2 years. I pulled this stat after he missed a couple.
Mm-hmm.
It is shocking how bad Justin Tucker has actually been from distance.
Really? Well, I mean, we all just feel like he's automatic, and we've seen him kick 60-yarders, so we feel like he's and what historically, I mean, I know this year has taken him off of that mantle, but historically, he's been the most accurate kicker in the NFL history.
Justin Tucker in the last 2 years is a combined 4 of 12 from beyond 50 yards.
Ooh, that leg's getting a little
Now,
older.
the difference is last year he was 10 of 10 from under 30, 10 of 10 from under 40, 11 of 12 from under 50. This year, on the other hand, he missed 2 inside 50.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a big deal.
Sometimes you have this.
You get to a certain age, and you're just not as good as you once were.
Mm-hmm.
I will also say this. He's still practically automatic inside 50. I'll sign up for that every day.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I get it. We try to have the Brandon Aubreys that can hit one from 67 or 64 or whatever he hit the other day. And that's all well and good, and that is a great asset. There is also a great asset to I get inside the 50 and I don't ever miss.
Yes.
I know he missed 2 last week.
But I also feel like that becomes a detriment at times to your team. The fact
that you can't hit one from deep?
No, the fact that you are so good that no matter what situation your team's in, your coach is always going to believe you can make that kick. But I would love to know where that comes. Where does he rank in 50-plus yard attempts in the NFL? I would have to feel like it's pretty high. I mean, I know that his team gets closer than that more often than not. Percentage-wise, though, I would feel like when you have a kicker like Justin Tucker on your team, I'm always going to feel like he can make it. So am I putting him in a position to kick more of those? And so by percentage, maybe it's not as bad as
the Ravens this year they're in the bottom half of the league in 50-plus yard attempts.
Yeah, okay. Like I said,
the Houston Texans have tried 14 of them. The Cowboys have tried 11, so have the Steelers.
Right.
Weird. All 3 of those teams have really good kickers.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the Jets? Oh, 2. They've tried 2. Wow. One team in the NFL has not attempted a field goal of 50-plus yards all year.
Really?
They've had kicker issues, too.
Who is it?
The Green Bay Packers. Then you have the Eagles down there at the bottom. They've tried 4. They've hit as many as I have.
Mm-hmm. It hasn't been a great season for Jake Elliott. But, I mean, maybe there'll be an opportunity that he can kick some this week against the L.A. Rams. Maybe the Rams defense can hold them to field goals. Who knows? You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Want to take this opportunity to remind everybody that on Monday after the program in the evening, 5 o'clock, we will be up at the Asheville Mall Monday night for the lighting of the Ingalls Giving Tree, another year and another partnership between iHeartMedia Asheville, Ingalls Supermarkets, and Manna Food Bank. We want to make sure as many bellies get filled this holiday season as we possibly can. Of course, in the wake of Hurricane Helene, all of the need has gotten greater. So if you are in a place where you can help out and you can donate to Manna Food Bank, please do so. You have an opportunity to do so every time you go to your local Ingalls store. At the checkout, they will have Ingalls Giving Tree icons that you can purchase. They cost $5, and that $5 can be turned into meals for the needy through Manna Food Bank. So come on down to the Asheville Mall on Monday night. We will be helping to light up the Ingalls Giving Tree for yet another year. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. When we come back, Jeremy will have his bangers and final thoughts for the weekend.
What if you could hear your favorite song for the first time again? Introducing the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks. With an available Bose Personal Plus sound system that uses speakers in the headrest to create a 360-degree listening experience. You've never heard anything like this. Reimagine your music and your drive. Experience the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks for yourself at nissanusa.com today.
Available feature. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation.
People are talking about Summit Dental in Asheville. Here's what one user writes on their Google review. Dr. Reinhardt and his staff are unbelievable. You can go to a lot of dentists and they can do the job okay, I guess, but when you get an excellent job on what you've come in to have done and also be treated like family, it's a win-win for anybody looking for a great dentist. Summit Dental in Asheville with Dr. Chad Reinhardt and Dr. Luke Tompkins. Call them today, 828-277-6868. That's 828-277-6868 or online at AshevilleSummitDental.com.
These times of massive inflation have people just like you strapped.
As far as my debt, I was drowning in debt. My balances were never going down. I was making payments every month. It was just draining every resource I had.
The Debt Management Group can help. In the first free call, they will explain all the relief programs you may qualify for to get you out of debt fast.
They saved me thousands of dollars, especially in interest. I would have never paid off this debt without their help.
I felt like it was a burden lifted off my shoulders. It felt amazing, and I felt like I could actually see a future for me and my kids.
The sooner you call, the faster you can get the relief you deserve. It's free information on all the debt relief programs you qualify for, plus guaranteed confidentiality. Call 800-933-3470. That's 800-933-3470. Call now to find out about the best debt forgiveness, consolidation, modification, and settlement programs available. 800-933-3470. That's 800-933-3470.
WWNC.com.
With live, local breaking news.
And the latest weather and traffic updates.
It's the website preferred by 9 out of 10 people who want to know what's going on.
News Radio 570, WWNC.
At Ingalls Weather, we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. It's all in the bag. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
This is J.W. Whitley, General Manager at Parks Ford of Hendersonville. I would like to introduce you to some of our very own Parks community heroes. Like Trent and Doug, whose first instinct was to fill their trucks with supplies and drive to the areas that were hardest hit in those first hours. like Spencer, who helped build a bridge out of debris to rescue 7 families after the road was washed away. Nominate your Parks Community Hero today at parkscommunityheroes.com. That's parkscommunityheroes.com. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Coffee store closes on me. Get them the money.
Then when you get the money, you get the power.
That watch costs more than your car.
Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
Favorite picks of the week. We start with a favorite punching bag of mine, the Florida Gators. They're 11.5-point dogs at home against Ole Miss. And yes, they did just send Brian Kelly and his family back to LSU carrying a possibly program disintegrating loss. That ain't Ole Miss. That ain't Jackson Dart. That ain't what's coming in here this week. They're going to hurt your feelings real bad. And I'm not going to lie. I haven't had a lot of enjoyment as a Florida State fan this year. I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy this quite nicely. But that's not what you're here for either.
Underdog, 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 underdog.
Speed of lightning, roar of thunder. Minnesota's an 11.5-point dog at home against Penn State. Penn State can't score. Minnesota is undervalued. They're always undervalued. But P.J. Fleck is one of the best coaches in the country. You get James Franklin, I get P.J. Fleck, and I'm carrying 11.5 into this game. I'll take it. Give me the Gophers plus 11.5.
Country roads,
take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia's just going to keep burning me until I stop letting them burn me, but I'm doing it again this week. I don't know if like, Gus Malzahn has pictures of somebody in the desert. I don't know why they get so much credit when they're this bad. Give me West Virginia at home plus the 3. They went outright. Oklahoma State, I can't quit you. You are like a drug that I have been mainlining, and I can't stop. And it ain't stopping this week. 3.5-point dog at home against Texas Tech. You're just better than they are. This is, at some point, you've got to have that game where you step up and say, I am better than you are. It should be this week. Give me the Cowpokes plus 3.5. Favorite pick of the week. It's the Yankee breaky, no mistakey. Give me the Hoosiers plus 10.5. I think they win this game outright. Indiana, I've watched way more of this team than I should. They play up against good competition. Go back, look what they did in Nebraska. I get it. A good defensive team in Michigan kind of throttled the offense, but that was a great little flappetizer for what they're going to get in the horseshoe. I don't buy Ohio State. If I'm wrong, I will happily admit it on Monday. And if they boat race Indiana, I'm wrong. They're a contender, and they're competitive. I think Curtis Rourke and Kirk Cignetti are better than Will Howard and Ryan Day. That makes up for the fact you're on the road. Give me the Hoosiers plus the 10.5, and I'll throw a little trinket on if they win it outright.
Mm-hmm. Okay, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
All right.
Go heavy on plus 10.5. Just a little bit on Indiana.
Indiana stays undefeated with a win at the shoe.
I think this team is a perfect example of what NIL can do. And look, they may get boat raced by Ohio State. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of talent on that team. You've got a very cohesive unit that's been together for quite some time in the guys that came over from JMU. You add that to the talent they already had, adding a guy like Curtis Rourke in the transfer portal. That Indiana team, they're not going to be fun to deal with.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are upset because, but they haven't beat anybody. Nobody's beaten anybody. Nobody's beaten it. Nobody has more than 2 quality wins on the entire board. They just don't. And if the one team that does have that's Georgia, and they have 2 terrible losses.
Mm-hmm.
One of them where they got embarrassed by Ole Miss. You seem to be forgetting that. You conveniently forget the thing that doesn't pander to your argument. Well, they have 2 good wins. They also got embarrassed completely by Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Might want to.
And should have by Alabama.
They got embarrassed for 3 quarters by Alabama until
did.
Alabama looked around and went, oh, yeah, we're not good.
Yep.
We're not awesome. And you still found a way to lose.
Mm-hmm. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Hope everybody is able to make the most of their weekend, especially on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Go to DraftKings.com. We will be back with you to break down all of the weekend action on Monday right here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Snow showers tapering off, but still in through some of the higher elevations. We may have some additional accumulations with winter weather advisories continuing. Elsewhere, sunshine, a few clouds, and 43 with a gusty breeze this afternoon. Tonight, staying cloudy, breezy, 35. Saturday, sunshine, near 50 with a gusty northwest wind. Sunday, sunshine, milder, up close to 65. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by eBay.
Dan Scott here, inviting you to check out my new show every Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. here on ESPN Asheville, where we bring sports and faith together. The Dan Scott Show, 8 a.m. Sundays on ESPN Asheville.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK,